If you ever feel like it's all so jover, just come over, hop into the stream at twitch.tv/HassanAbi. Live almost every day from sunny West LA. I'll cover daily news, so tune in now, see what I have to say.
Blast off, blast off. If you're unhinged, prepare to take a week off. Hassan, Hassan. I swear to God, Allah, please end this long pause. Boss makes $1 and I only make a dime. That's why I watch the stream when I'm on company time. Boss makes $1 and I only make a dime. That's why I watch the stream when I'm on company time, like now. I'm probably in the chat right now. Get it, Hassan is streaming. I'm just a gamer frog, of course I hate myself. If there's just one Stunlock more, my hopes will go up on the shelf. You're just a debate perv, of course you hate yourself. Every thought to justify your own self-worth to someone else. Again, what do I always say? Lost in the sauce, you can't escape. How unhinged can one chatter get? Don't ban him, mods, they're our new pet. Show me the light and set me free from this black-pilled reality. Can I find hope? Can I debate for this top of the hour break? Boss makes $1 and I only make a dime. That's why I watch the stream when I'm on company time. Boss makes $1 and I only make a dime. That's why I watch the stream when I'm on company time, like now.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hassan broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one today, because today's a beautiful day, today's a wonderful day. Today is a Saturday. That's right, Saturday, November 25th, 2023. Ooh, and I am definitely a little late, and I apologize for that. I'm gonna tell you exactly why in a brief moment, but it's 67 degrees and sunny here in California, Los Angeles. It's kind of cold, but certainly still sunny regardless here in California, Los Angeles. I'm live and alive, and I hope everyone's having a great one. The name of the song is Hospilled, for those of you who are wondering, by Cam Kardashian. Hospilled by Cam Kardashian. Absolute fucking masterpiece, a banger, as you guys know. That was the intro song. But also, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you a little bit about my personal news about what's going on in my life. I still remember JFK in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What? Your shit's looking different today? I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Anyway, you're a clown. He's gonna say nothing as always. Damn, we have a lot of actually decent intro. He's gonna say nothing as always. What's happening? We got like fucking incredible amounts of haters so early. Look at this. Yeah, my TikTok blew up. I can show you. Like, I'm like a minute in, dude. That's crazy. We're 1 minute in. What's happening? That's real dedication right there. Listen, his post, thanks even the family member was hard on peeps. Yeah, they're like, I need to get it out. I need to get it out of my system. I need to be fucking as awful as physically, humanly possible. Anyway, the background is too white. Oh no, it's because I'm standing. Because I'm not sitting. That's why. Anyway, folks, we're live and alive. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you a little bit about my personal news about what's going on. Last night I briefly Went over to the roomie's house for Leslie's birthday. As a Lesler, you know, I had to play my role. That's what I did after I ended the stream. Hung out with the family a little bit. And then that's it. Honestly, not really too much. Did that. Came back home, went to sleep, woke up, worked out. Kaya updates are she had a wonderful play date today. I hope you guys enjoyed the gaming portion on yesterday's broadcast, because honestly, it was pretty fire in my opinion. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of fun. Absolute great time. Oh my God, Wisdom fucking destroyed this. This is what a legend, dude. High fashion One Piece thread. God damn it, dude. He's so good. Please play it again today. It was so good. Honestly, I think I'm gonna give the lovers of and the haters alike the thing that they want the most, which is watching me piss my pants. So I am probably going to be playing a little bit of Alan Woke. Alan Woke 2, baby. Woke squared. Wokeness squared. When someone doesn't have an opinion on Israel, Palestine, good political video. Got it. Anyway, but yeah, have you seen the Dublin riots that are happening right now? There's still riots happening in Dublin? I thought they fucking stopped it. I thought they put an end to it. Dublin's still on fire. You don't understand it. Dublin. It's been on fire for the past 3 days. 3 days. 3 whole days and Dublin's still on fire, lads. Anyway, Phoenix Wright, you play Defense Attorney. It's even more woke. Please play with Lolo. Sure. What the fuck? This is my reality. It's great to see our himbo making his dreams come true. Oh, one day, dude. One fucking day. All right, let me bring this down to sit the fuck down. All right. Anyway, folks, Dublin's on fire. Dublin's still on fire. In our minds and in our hearts, it's still on fire. Let me tell you. Real life lore videos be like, that's funny. I'll watch this slanderous video on real life lore. Hopefully it's in good faith. Anyway, you down to the monster yesterday is how it would go with a bear. Fuck no. No, it wouldn't. You're wrong. You're wrong for that, and I think it's kind of fucked up how wrong you are for that. Do you know how the white man killed off all the grizzlies in California? They did? Okay. AO, more than 500,000 people in Rome marched today in Italy against gender violence. I thought that was like Anne Cappuccilio. Anne delivery. What the hell? Anne Murat delivery. Major delivery. God damn, dude. Call that the don't give a fuck on the Irish? Okay. Anyway, Juicer about how some streamers would look if they went to the gym. You're included in this, by the way. What the fuck? All right, let's get started.
On full blast at the gym today, chat. Listen, dude. Today we will make something out of nothing.
It's funny because Germa is already a gym rat. You know what I mean? Like Germa, this just looks like young Germa, but now old. You know what I mean? Because like young Germa was like, young Germa was stacked. Young Germa was absolutely stacked, which is ironic because like there is a iconic photo of him in a tank top such as this one, and he's just like absolutely out of control, nutty, bass boosted, looking svelte, looking tight like a tiger, looking like he just enlisted to the U.S. military, and he is waiting to sign the dotted line on his new Dodge Charger. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the Germinator. Young Germa svelte. Yeah, here. Look at this. Look, thank you for the 500 subs.
750 people at recording of this video. 750 people are now subscribed to the channel. I have nothing to say besides thank you so much. I was supposed to do this at 500, but as you can see, it's a little too late for that. I can't really do that now. So here it is. It's time to get fucking huge.
Oh,
These
God,
are bicep
the Boston.
curls, baby. There's 1, there's 2, 3. If you want.
Why is he in Mexico? Dude, back in the day, the yellow sepia filter wasn't known as the Mexico filter. It was just literally all phones look like this. All camera footage from this era, from 12 years ago, this is from 2011. All camera footage from this era has that filter on it. It's still November, man. Turn this off. No, we all failed No Nut November. 5 days out, and you failed it.
Wondering these are 35-pound weights. So let's really get this going. Come on. I need like.
Anyway, that's what that is literally him, just older now. Amaranth literally goes to the gym all the fucking time. She's jacked as hell.
Cat girls better watch out for Mr. Big Dick Energy himself, because here I come.
Asmongold went to the gym so hard his hair grew back. Okay, I like this one because at least like Dr. Disrespect, like he also goes to the gym, but now he's like even more yoked. Like, this is fair. Oh, Tim the Tatman literally looks like you know what. Okay, I don't want to say it, but I mean that's like the most Aryan Brotherhood ass look I've ever seen, bro. What the hell? He just straight up looks like he's, you said ACAB, except like, yeah, he'd be like an ACAB Nazi. You know what I mean? Like the type of Nazi that just like also hates the cops. I like that they adjusted. Why does Shroud just look like Todok now? When Shroud hits the gym, he just turns into Todok. Todok? That's gotta be racist. Oh, well, I take it back. That actually, wait, I don't look like that at all. What the hell? What is this face?
Stronger body, stronger activism.
What? I look like Cypher? Yeah, I do. I take offense to this.
Stronger body.
I take offense to this. Why? Because like they could have made me way more yoked. You know what I mean? They could have made me way more yoked. Because like I'm already pretty big. I'm pretty brolic. You know what I mean? They should have made me more yoked.
Stronger activism.
I don't even know what is happening with his face at this point. Oh, the Summit one is really good, actually. See, this is what I mean. Some of these are like really good, and some of these are just busted. Like the
Boys,
Pokemon
the
was
plan is
broken.
simple. Get his
What is this fit? He would wear some gay ass shit like this, dude. He can't beat the twink allegations, dude. He can't. He's trying so hard. He's trying to look like a jock, and all he's looking like is drama club, you know?
ripped as possible. That's literally it. That's the whole plan.
Okay, this just straight up looks like Miskiv minus the hair. This is just Miskiv after Camp Canute. This is also just Tfue. I think Tfue, like, maybe with like 10 pounds more muscle mass. Oh, again, just, okay. Okay, some of these are just basically the same. Like, Tyler one is the same, except he looks like he's 6'5" in this one. Like, actually, unironically. Like, this is Tyler one if he actually was 6'5". It's almost at Tyler 2. This one's a little odd. That's fire. Also fire. Oh my God. If Pokelaws week 1 after not smoking weed, Poke drops smoking weed, literally 1 week later, he is automatically a power lifter. This is sick. Michael Reeves just straight up Mark Ruffalo Hulk. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Literally just looks like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. What happened? What happened to half of his fucking chain? He's just gone. Isn't Forsen dead? Didn't he die? R.I.P. by the way. Yeah. Sad state of affairs, you know? Alright. Anyway. They're holding a memorial for him today. Yeah. Yeah, he's dead. This is everyone on Tren. Yeah. Which, by the way, objectively better. Everyone would be better on Tren, and now we know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that we have this as proof. Proof is in the pudding. Everyone on Tren. Everyone looks better. All right. Well, let's blast off. This YouTube channel, AI Grifts are crazy. Yeah, I know. Dude, I have like I don't know if you're trolling or not. Yeah, I'm trolling. Everything I'm saying is silly. First, we're gonna talk about the hostage release situation, and then Saturday Fun Day commences. Okay, buddy, memes. Okay, buddy, meme review. Gaming, scary, Twin Peaks, detective, game, but woke, Alan Woke 2, and more. Get in now. Have you tried the cookies yet? What cookies? Pokey cookies? I did. I tried them the first. Wait, what the fuck? Where's my? I tried them on the podcast. I tried them for the first time ever on camera, as a matter of fact. Last try, would you look at this? New Zealand is going far right. No, I will not be looking at New Zealand politics today. This is not like I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. We're gonna briefly go over the hostage release situation, and then we're going into Fun Day. I'm sorry. Anything that is like, here's the far right taking over my hometown or whatever, or New Zealand, which is basically like a country but a hometown. It's the most hometown ass country you can have. It's literally like being like, hey man, hey, I don't know if you know this, but like, Belgium, like the far right is taking over Belgium, and it's like, okay, well, what the fuck? Like, what do you want me to do about it? Oh, the far right is taking over the Vatican. All right, got it. You know what I mean? Like, talk to me when New Zealand is larger. All jokes aside, I mean, sure, I would look at it on a different circumstance, but I don't want to do it right now. Did you cover the unspeakable things she did? Made a joke, crazy stuff? Who? Pokimane? Bro, please, let's not talk about the Pokimane situation any further. Anytime I fucking open my mouth up about the Pokimane situation, people don't even listen at this point. I mean, people have stopped listening for a very long time, but they just straight up will be like, wow, I can't believe this guy thinks that everyone should lose their houses to purchase like the Pokimane cookies, and he thinks like the price is perfectly apt and justifiable, and also at the same time these cookies are the only things that are going to save the planet, and she priced it at $7 a bag or some shit. You know what I mean? I'm fucking stupid. Gaza has half the population in New Zealand. Talk to me when Australia is fucking bombing New Zealand with our bombs and our weapons. I'm actually like the tweet saying people talk about the Pokemon cookies when a genocide is happening. Yeah, except it's true. All the commentary YouTube Andes who like have been suspiciously quiet when it requires them to take a position or take a stand on shit that is otherwise considered divisive online were real fucking quiet for weeks and weeks on end, and then they fucking grabbed onto the drama real quick when it was like, oh, everyone can get together and shit on Pokey. It's because she said something that, like, although a joke, she said something that looks fucking dog shit out of context. So it's just like perfect, you know? So it's time to do ethics and cookie journalism. React to Andrew Rarest W on Piers Morgan? No. Important thread? Yeah, I have the high fashion thread in front of me. Wisdom K high fashion thread. Oh my God, I heard about the Florida royal wedding. Oh, thank you for showing this to me. Dude, how fucking nuts is this? Did you hear about the Florida royal wedding? This girl's dad owns every Mercedes dealership in the Miami area, so she got married in the real Versailles. Bro, this is a $59 million wedding. And at first I was like, okay, so that's like a courtship, right? Like this is a person who owns like a country or something. Turns out it's the daughter of a fucking local car dealership owner, which reminded me of the reality that we have to put a stop to car dealerships. We just have to. We must. Government mandated middleman daughter? No, literally, exactly. Dude, I often forget how devastatingly wealthy the auto dealership owners look like, and how much political power they have as well. That's how much it costs to be an absolutist era monarch life. Biden's economy actually good, damn. No, low key, Elon Musk and myself are completely aligned on this. Like, he was right. And I actually have talked about this before. Years ago, when Elon Musk was like shitting on car dealerships, auto dealerships, I also said that was a rare W for him, because like eviscerating the car dealership middleman is the correct thing to do. Except it's also kind of un-American, because the American economy is propped up by a collection of middlemen that are government mandated. Yeah, that's how you do commerce, baby. You make. My mom is sitting in the living room next to me, and she's just responding to me like a chatter. Like, she's so invested in the conversation, she's just responding to me. That's crazy. She's laughing now. She's just having a convo with me. They can't hear you, Mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's just sitting there listening to me and going, yeah, middleman after middleman. Yeah. That's where we're at. That's the situation we're at. You know, that's how it works. Okay, let's see. There's some fun stuff in here too that we were going to talk about. This is what the United States is all about. We'll do this. He tried to become the USA's first white supremacist president. I mean, I don't know if he was if this guy 1999. I don't know if that was the first time we had a white supremacist president, but okay. Go drink your Wawa. I work in finance for a LA car dealership. They make so much money. Oh, I know. Does she call us your little friends on the computer? No, my family is completely aware of how this stuff works because, they have been basically forced to learn what like Twitch and all this stuff looks like. But what about the first 30 presidents? That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of presidents were white supremacists. Maybe not all of them, but anyway, here's the blast off. We did it. All right, let's start with this one actually. Are you going to cover Spain-Israel diplomatic crisis? Yeah, not really. I was gonna do I did see this. This is cute. This is actually cute. And much better than the food he was eating that I saw on Twitter. This is very cute. After spending 49 days in Gaza as a hostage. Also, Hassan is a buy. Please don't ever send me Visegrad tweets ever again. Come on, dog. This is like the fucking psychotic, far-right, racist, Polish Twitter account. Like you can source this video from elsewhere. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is a good moment. It's very cute. You think that the other 9-year-olds were like, man, I didn't actually like Ohad that much, but now we're just hanging out with him. Like I feel like if I was in his shoes, like in Ohad's shoes, when I watched this, the first thing I thought of was like an unearned sense of love that you get in situations like this that feels disingenuous, like being on your birthday. You know what I mean? Like all the people that your family is friends with from your class come and participate in this like experience, even though technically you're like, I don't really fuck with these kids. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit. Avi, you need to see a therapist. I know. I'm brain broken. Also, you said they're too young for that, but like no, that's like precisely precisely the age that I'm talking about when I was like 9 and 10. Incredibly insecure, where I was just like, oh God, I hate this birthday party. Like all these people I think hate me, and why the fuck are they here? And now they have to like say happy birthday to me.
Shalom. אני אחזיק לכם. אתה רוצה ללכת הצידה לדבר? בוא נלך וניתן לו לדבר איתו קצת זמן.
That bro, give me the fucking iPad, dog. 49 days without an iPad. 49 days without an iPad. Give me the goddamn iPad. I want to see the new Fortnite update. I want to watch Pokemon. I don't know what's going on. He's like, I love Jinxie. What's he up to? Is he playing Rainbow Six? Dude, there have been 11 renditions of Skibidi Toilet that I missed out on. I need to catch up immediately, okay? I need to catch up on the Skibidi Toilets, brother. What the hell? But yeah, no, it's good stuff. I'm glad that some of the hostages have been returned so far. There have been great videos from the Palestinian side as well of just like people returning to their homes, and then an incredible amount of racism. Holy shit. Just like a incredible amount of racism on like these guys are all terrorists. Like I can't believe these rapist terrorist baby murdering monsters have returned home. And then you look at like what their rap sheet is. And first, like you have to contextualize all of the hostage releases on the basis that this is like being done, like on the Israeli side. You have to contextualize it. You have to frame it around this being an apartheid regime, and therefore these are military tribunals with a 97.9% conviction rate, and most of these charges are conducted on secret evidence or simply suspicions under a process known as indefinite detention, which is illegal, right? So when you realize that, and then you look at like the Times of Israel justifications as to why these people have been like arrested, it's almost always vibes based. Like obviously there's literally, there's obviously like real crimes that have occurred as well that would be considered real crimes under a civil governance too, except there is no civil governance, right? For Palestinians existing under the Israeli occupation in the West Bank. So you look at that, situation, and you watch people coming back. You watch Palestinian families coming back, and then you see like all of these commenters being like, dude, these fucking rapist, baby murdering monsters. Like, I can't believe they released them. This is a fucking failure. This is awful. It's so terrible. And then people will be like, and then people will look at like what they've done, and their rap sheet is literally like, you know, suspicion that he or she stabbed or wanted to stab someone, and I could see it in her eyes. And it's unironically that, like, you look at their, like, the lady that was that lady who returned home after like 6 years of being arrested and like being held under indefinite detention. And people are like, well, she tried to stab someone, and it's like, but then you look at the actual case file, and it just straight up says she was at a bus stop, and a settler claimed she wanted to stab someone, and there was no evidence for it whatsoever, and they still fucking arrested her and placed her under indefinite detention for 6 years. And it's like, that's crazy, man. It's like, it's nuts. But the way that it's being talked about on the Israeli side, from all the people who are like very frustrated that a single Palestinian has been even released from indefinite detention is so crazy. Where they're like, this is a false equivalence. You cannot equivocate the morality of like Palestinians being released to the hostages being released on the Israeli side. Like the hostages released on the Israeli side are like babies and children, and then the hostages being released on the Palestinian side they're all monsters. They're bloodthirsty. They're all fucking they're prisoners. And it's like, dude, please just exercise a little bit of critical thinking and try to think about it from the framework of like, how would you feel if this was a 13-year-old Israeli child? Like, you know, would you want that 13-year-old Israeli child to be held in solitary confinement and tortured and have confessions extracted under torturous conditions, which are all, you know, human rights abuses? Like, these are violations of international humanitarian law. And then you have this situation where, like, in occupied Jerusalem, you're not even allowed to celebrate. Itamar Ben-Gvir has made celebrations illegal. Now, they can't contain the celebrations of the West Bank for the Palestinians that are released because, you know, they don't have the smoke for it. You know, they're spread a little too thin right now because there's the ongoing siege in Gaza, right? But in Jerusalem, they have the internal police force and the Palestinian Authority and everyone else, like, basically operating or collaborating together. Maybe not Palestinian Authority as much, but the security forces are following Itamar Ben-Gvir's request to ensure that there's no celebrations whatsoever for the prisoners being released, for the hostages being released on the Palestinian side. Look at them. They're saying Allahu Akbar, which is, of course, a call sign for terrorism. It's great news, but do you know why Hamas is releasing more than the agreed amount of hostages? They've cut separate deals with different governments. So the Thai hostages that were released have nothing to do with Israel. They cut a separate deal with the Thai government. That's not been confirmed. No, the Thai hostages are not a part of the Israeli deal. Don't say that. People believe you. What do you mean? Oh, the Allahu Akbar thing. Yeah. The Thai prisoners, the Thai hostages were released separately. He said that he was neither tortured nor assaulted, and he'd been fed good food. He was very well taken care of. The sister of a Thai captive who was released from Gaza speaks about his experience there.
ครั้งแรกเพื่อนเขาบอกว่าโดนยิงเสียชีวิตในแคมป์ทั้งหมด10
I thought he was among the 16 shot dead.
คือมีวิทูลอยู่ในนั้นด้วยค่ะทางบ้านก็
Our family was very sad.
ไม่เป็นอันทำอะไรเลย
แต่คือตอนนี้พอข่าวค่ะ
ค่ะส่งศพกลับมาทั้งหมด
But when they sent the bodies back, he wasn't there.
คือแบบ
I'm very happy because my hope was very dim.
จู่ๆเราความหวังเราก็ริบหรี่แล้วเนาะ คิดว่าเป็นตัวประกันเขาจะปล่อยก็ได้ ไม่ปล่อยก็ได้เขาจะทรมานเขาจะ
He's a
ฆ่า
hostage. He
ทิ้ง
might be in the
ในอุโม
tunnels,
งค์
but
น่ะก็ไม่
suddenly
มี
there's
ใครรู้
hope.
ค่ะ
ดีไหมคะ
ขึ้นยิ้มแย้ม
His face
แจ่ม
was
ใส
very
จน
happy, and he
พี่คิด
seemed
ว่า
okay.
เขาอะ
I
ส
mean,
ภาพ
did
จิต
she
ใจน่าจะ
did
โอ
she
เคค่ะ
contact him? Did she talk
พี่
to
ก็
him?
ถามว่า
He said that he
เขา
was
ไป
not
เขาไม่
tortured
ท
or
รมานไหม
assaulted.
น้องบอกว่าไม่เขาไม่ได้ทรมานเลยเขาไม่ได้ทำร้ายร่างกาย แล้วกับข้าวน้ำอะไรกิน
And
ป
have
ก
been
ติ
fed
เขาบ
good
อกอ่ะ
food.
แต่อยู่ในอุโมงค์แค่นั้นเอง
คือเขาก็ดูแลดีใช่ไหมคะ
ดูแลดี
He
ส
was
ภาพร่างกาย
taken
ก็
care of
ไม่ได้
very
โทรม
well.
ไม่ได้อิดโรย
For the record, Allahu Akbar just means God is
เสื้อ
great.
ผ้าก็ไม่ได้
And that's it. That's what it is. It's not, don't be a racist piece of shit.
เปื้อน
Twitter
ก็
video is
ดู
so
เหมือน
bad.
ค
It
น
looks
ที่
like you
พัก
just
อยู่
stayed in a house,
ใน
not a
ใน
tunnel.
บ้านในอะไรทั่วไปเหมือนไม่ใช่อยู่ในอุโมงค์
Thank you, Little Bear, for accepting all the Okay Buddy memes. Yeah, I saw that the Jewish Journal wrote an article that was like, ironically, doing tropes. The inside story of how Palestinians took over the world. From the people that experienced, the Jews controlled the world. Here is, how about it was Palestinians that control the world all along? Allahu Akbar just means God is great, okay? It's just like the same as saying hallelujah. It's just a thing that you say in celebration or even, I mean, it's a thing that you say in shock. I don't fucking know. I mean, it's just a thing you say. I don't know. You say it for everything. It just means it could be like praise be, thank God. It's similar to that. So yeah, we'll do this in a second. I don't even want to do the fucking trope shit, but yeah. Oh, yaptın mı yemeği? Oh, çok vay be. Kaya, what are you doing? Bu perfect olmuş baba. I don't know, brother. When I was in Iraq, they said Aloha snack bar and bad stuff happened when I was doing imperialism. Yeah, like that one vet who's like, listen, for all the folks out there wondering, waiting, you hear Aloha snack bar and you know some shit's about to pop off, okay? You already know, brother. Is that lahmacun? No, not. It's not lahmacun. It's just my specialty. It's just chicken that's like chopped up very aggressively and cooked in peppers and onions, and then I make like it kind of looks like a chorizo, and then I make a little wrap every day. This is what I eat every day, boys. You don't know my shit. Anyway, so happy I got mac and cheese with ribs. God damn. Let John McCain teach these kids. Oh yeah, I mean here, even fucking everyone's favorite John McCain. Here it is.
Well, listen to this video, Senator McCain, of a Syrian, it looks like a fighter jet being shot out of the sky. Listen to what they say afterwards. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! I have a problem helping those people out if they're screaming that after a hit.
Would you have a problem with American Christians saying, thank God, thank God? That's what they're saying. Come on. For someone to say Allah Akbar is about as offensive as someone saying, thank God.
General Dempsey came out and, well, listen to this.
I love that he immediately tries to swap it and it's like, General Dempsey came out. It's like, you fucking asshole. When you're getting outflanked by John motherfucking McDonald McCain over here, you didn't expect that? That's a classic. When they were saying Obama is an Arab and a Muslim, John McCain had that classic, like, no, he's not. He's a good man. He's not an Arab. He's a good man. Anyway, all right, let's talk about the Qatari official says the second round of hostages and prisoner exchange is back on. This is from 1 hour ago. After they paused it for a brief moment, let's take a look at the latest updates here. Yesterday, or in between yesterday and today, the second round of hostage release was slated to happen, except the Israeli government, according to Hamas, has not followed on the conditions of the hostage release, including but not limited to, one, refusing to release the women and children by length of sentencing. That was one of the conditions. Like the longer people that have served, the faster they would get out in the first round. That didn't happen. So they said, we're going to hold off on hostages unless you fucking follow the conditions. I believe there's a 5-parter from Israeli leftist Hassan Abihed, who actually looked at the conditions as to why they had stopped it, I think, or they were saying they want to, from El Nono. Here it is. Statement from the Hamas political wing media advisor Taher El Nono. Fucking hate Windows 11 so much. Here. And also, what the hell's going on? This is like not even loading. Okay. The most important things mentioned in the interview with the media advisor of the Hamas political bureau, Tahir al-Nono. Stop fucking spamming Nono in the chat, you sons of bitches. Yeah, how about Nono to the top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of every hour. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You could do that for $5 or free with the Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon account to your Twitch account, your Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Okay. No. There are two opposite images since yesterday. The image of a smile and achievement in a file of male and female prisoners and stopping the killing among our people, in contrast to the occupation's violations of the agreement. The occupation opened fire on many citizens during the truce period, which led to the martyrdom of 2 citizens yesterday. So they killed 2 people in the ceasefire process. They opened live ammo. Like, they opened fire on people that were trying to make a passage back into North Gaza to get to their homes. So they shot at them, which was fucking ridiculous. Then the aid that entered the northern Gaza area is much less than what was agreed upon and must be fully adhered to. That was also premeditated. Like, they had previously talked about how much aid was going to make its way into northern Gaza. Remember, there's still civilians in northern Gaza. Okay. El-Nono also said what the criminal Zionist occupation is doing poses a threat to the implementation of the agreement and the completion of this process. The occupation's disregard for the issue of seniority in releasing prisoners puts the agreement in real danger. Another one of the aspects of the hostage release on the Israeli side was that they were supposed to release hostages that had more seniority, as in had a longer sentence that they had served out first. They, I guess, did not abide by that. On our part, we presented things that were not in the deal, such as the release of Thai workers, which was mediated by Turkey and with a Qatari role. The occupation always wants to detract from the rights of the Palestinian people, and this, for us, is unacceptable and unacceptable. These matters were reported to us by the mediators, and they are moving on them so that the occupation must adhere to the terms as we have committed to them. So basically, he just says, these matters are reported to us. This is an agreement that was made at a time when the blood of the martyrs was flowing, and this is a Palestinian right. We are still waiting for the following up on the implementation of each clause of the agreement in detail. We send a message to the occupation and UNRWA in particular, which had a role in disrupting the agreement and delaying the arrival of aid, and any excuses are unacceptable. The occupation has sold its fans many illusions since the beginning of the war and has not succeeded in achieving any of its goals. The rest of it is like propaganda saying, Israel sucks, yada, yada, yada. Isn't that kind of insane? What if Israel simply resumes the bombing? Wouldn't that be an L for them? So one thing to remember, and Rashid Khalidi had a conversation with Jeremy Scahill and Murtaza on The Intercept, on the Intercepted podcast, which I was listening to earlier. Rashid Khalidi, of course, is a Palestinian historian scholar, Edward Said scholar, and he has written 100 Years of War in Palestine. Amongst, he's a great historian. And they addressed some of these things where they were talking about, like, do you think that they asked Jeremy Scahill asked them, like, do you think that these were goals that Hamas actually accomplished? Like, what were Hamas's goals in your opinion? Obviously, he doesn't fucking know, but he's like purely speculating, in which he openly mentioned. But I think he brought up some really interesting points about the fact that, of course, Hamas understands that there is going to be violent retaliation, and they are they're ready for it, in the sense that, like, they knew that this was going to happen, and ultimately they knew that Israel's reaction would create an environment where they're less sympathetic. So I think this unironically, this kind of stuff unironically, and like Israel's behavior throughout this entire process is basically causing them to lose more support. No matter how much mainstream media pushes a certain angle, I think people still recognize the disproportionate acts of violence and start asking more questions about the situation, and that and the death and devastation is avoidable as long as, Israel chooses to not be super violent. But of course, they are still behaving in a super violent fashion. This is what the Israeli Broadcasting Corporation, according to the informed source, the Israeli side says the release of the according to seniority was not a commitment, but rather just talk. So one thing that he brought up that I think is interesting, was that I thought was interesting was the fact that, hold on. was the fact that this completely fucking shatters any remaining fractional power that the Palestinian Authority might have ever had in the eyes of the Palestinians, right? Just eviscerates it, destroys it, and he's right about that. Like, that's why you see when the prisoners are being released on the Israeli side, like, they ask them, so how do you think? And their immediate response is like, thank God for, you know, Al-Qassam brigades, thank God for Hamas, thank God for all of them. And of course they feel that way because they think Hamas is the reason as to why they were released. And these are fucking people in the West Bank. Like, these are supposed to be people that are the most loyal to Fatah, and they're not. And the reason for why they're not is because Fatah put them in jail or played a role in putting them in jail, whereas in their minds, Hamas played a role in getting them out of prison. So, you know, ultimately it's more about who's collaborating with the occupation, with the belligerent occupation that is violent and destructive, and who is fighting against it, no matter what the reaction, no matter what the retaliation is. And that is, in my opinion, important to understand, because this is yet another circumstance of, like, Israel losing the political battles, right? Like, these are things you need to understand. These are things you need to understand. These are things you need to comprehend. Like, they might not agree with the things that Hamas are doing. Some of them don't acknowledge that, like, you know, the militants actually went and killed civilians and stuff like that. But ultimately, in their eyes, like, these guys are certainly the ones who are playing a significant role in their release. And it's important to recognize that because, you know, you got the New York Times writing dumb shit like this. Can the Palestinian Authority really govern Gaza after the war? I guess they'll probably openly state that that's not going to happen, right? Because the Palestinian Authority is the only political entity that is less popular. Like, in the eyes of the Palestinians, if you ask them, obviously Israel is the least popular political entity in the region because it's the apartheid regime. Palestinian Authority is the second least popular political entity in the region. And then it's Hamas. And Hamas isn't necessarily majority popular. Its actions might be, but they're not broadly popular by any means necessary. It's just that they are more popular than the Palestinian Authority right now. As a matter of fact, they're more popular in the Palestinian Authority. It's pretty funny. They're more popular in Hamas is more popular in the West Bank than they are in Gaza, which partially is because, like, obviously, the reason why they're more popular in the West Bank than Gaza is because, like, people in the West Bank are not governed under Hamas rule, and they only see the violent retaliation that Hamas engages in on their behalf, which is the reason why they're, like, probably more popular in the West Bank than they are in Gaza, where in Gaza they also have to they also live under Hamas rule, so that's probably the reason. So what hope do we have? Because Israel will never let Hamas run stuff. It doesn't have to be Hamas. But Israel's actions are directly contributing. The reason why I'm showing all of this is because Israel's actions are directly contributing to more popularity for violent resistance and Hamas specifically.
Start our breaking news coverage this hour with Hamas announcing a delay in the release of more hostages, accusing Israel of violating key terms of the agreement. Let's get right to NBC News correspondent David Noriega on the ground in Jerusalem for us. And David, I understand you just got in some news from the Qataris on this standoff that we're seeing at this hour.
Yeah, Richard, that's right. Big development from just the last couple of minutes. Spokesperson for the Qatari Foreign Ministry has released a public statement saying that the release of hostages is back on. They say that diplomatic efforts by Qatar and Egypt have persuaded Hamas to release the agreed upon hostages. I should say we also got a statement to that effect directly from Dr. Bassem Naim. He is a member of Hamas leadership. He is also saying that the release is back on, is also crediting diplomatic efforts by Qatar and Egypt. According according to the statement from the Qatari Foreign Ministry, we're looking at 13 Israeli hostages released for 39 Palestinian prisoners. These are the same numbers we saw last night. Again, not counting the, of course, 11 Thai and Filipino hostages that were released, in addition to the 13 Israeli
separate
hostages. So we still haven't heard from the Israeli side. We're waiting for a press conference to start from the IDF. You know, we may hear confirmation from them, but we at least have from those two sources as of right now that the release is back on. Things are changing quickly. This is very fluid, but that is the information we have for the time being. Richard.
Yeah, it's been very clear through your reporting and others here, David, that this deal is quite fragile. It is day to day. And just hours ago, dig down for us in terms of what we understood as to why we hadn't seen this exchange happen at this late hour there in Israel and Gaza.
Right. So what we understand about why that delay happened came from the Hamas side. They were saying that Israel had failed to abide by a couple of specific points on its side of the commitment to the agreement.
By the way, David Noriega is the guy who was like, yeah, this doesn't seem like in the Al Ahli hospital. He was the one who was on MSNBC going like, yeah, this is a little ridiculous to fucking not assume that this is yet another Israeli strike.
Agreement. Specifically, they said that Israel had not allowed the passage of enough aid trucks into Gaza. They say the number of aid trucks that entered was less than the amount that had been agreed upon. They also said that Israel had not abided by the terms of the release of prisoners from Israeli prisons, Palestinian prisoners from Israeli prisons. They say that the agreement was that the prisoners would be released according to how long they had been in prison, and that they had left in prison some people who had been in prison for many years, and instead released some people who had been in prison for only months. Those were the sort of finer points of what Hamas was saying previously had delayed this release. But again, now Hamas is saying that the release is back on. Richard?
Hamas is saying that the release is back on. Through the Qataris is where we're hearing this at this hour. And was there any concern as we looked at this that this deal, because of the...
What about the Palestinians who kill LGBT members? Yeah, you're right. I think we should jail those guys, except if we're jailing people that have killed like gay Palestinians, I'm assuming the entire IDF has to be fucking directly put to prison, right? Like who do you think is killing more gay people? Like, who do you think is killing more gay Palestinians? Like the Israeli occupation or Hamas? Same talking points over and over again. I know. It's like, listen, guys, I know the previous like Hamas's ISIS stuff didn't stick, especially now that like the same government that said they're ISIS and we have to like eviscerate them and we can't negotiate with them are negotiating successfully with them. So now we just have to move on to like, well, they're homophobic. Okay. You know, Hamas targets LGBT, but Israel bombs indiscriminately. Exactly. Like what kind of fucking take is this? I hate the like gay imperialism nonsense from all of you. I don't agree with Hamas's perspective on the world, guys. It doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter to many others, because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. The occupation is wrong. The apartheid state is wrong. It must come to an end so that Palestinians can democratically organize and fight for their own civil liberties. It's that simple.
Delay today that it could have fallen through. We're only on day 2 of this truce.
Concern, yes, for sure, Richard. I mean, the attitude that people here in Israel and also people in the West Bank whom I've been talking to have about this agreement in general is that nothing is real until we actually see it happen, right? The hostages are not released until we actually see them in Israeli custody, and the prisoners are not released until we actually see them, you know, on the streets of the West Bank. This is very minute by minute. Everything, there are all sorts of expectations, but it's an extremely delicate tightrope walk. The general sense is that it could fall apart at any moment. I will say, just having been reporting on this from the ground for the last several days, tonight was the first moment where it really felt like things were going off track. And if one thing goes off track, the entire thing can go off track. But again, you know, I just want to restate, we're hearing from a member of Hamas leadership, Dr. Bassem Naim, and we're hearing from the Qatari Foreign Ministry that for now, things are back on track.
Back on track. So this assumes then that the concerns they had before have been alleviated in some way, and we don't have any information on the alleviation of those concerns. For instance, the hundreds of trucks that were supposedly going to be moving into Gaza each and every day. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct. There is some wording in the statement that we received from this member of Hamas leadership that says that they recognize a commitment from the Israeli side to the agreed upon terms. What the exact details of that commitment are is not clear at this moment.
Damn, that
Israeli
outro song
officials say
was crazy.
today 14 hostages and 42 prisoners will be released on day 2 of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. On Friday, the first 24 hostages, including small children and grandmothers, crossed to safety 7 weeks after Hamas militants.
Of course, it's not the same. What did you expect? The prisoners are people who did some sort of act of violence, and the hostages? That's not true. That's not true. You're wrong about that. You're absolutely wrong about that. This is literally objectively untrue. The only way that you can try to frame it in this way, the only way you can try and frame it in this way is because, like, you think it's okay to torture and extract your concession out of... Wait, what? Oh, you're just repeating. Chair camp. I love seeing chair. You think it's okay to... yeah, this guy... Like, it's there's going to be a lot of, like, weird trolls that come in here today and just, like, repeat stuff that I've said as though it's an own, because they're just objectively bad people in general. Regardless, what's important here is to understand that the position that they're taking is to violently torture toddlers for crimes that they are either suspected of doing or sometimes openly not even convicted of doing, okay? The example that this person is making fun of is literally one that we've covered before, one that I talked about already. The example is the 13-year-old who was interrogated after his 15-year-old cousin and himself ran around and his 15-year-old cousin stabbed a 13-year-old Israeli kid and a 20-year-old. Neither of them died, luckily. The 15-year-old cousin was shot and killed on the spot. The 13-year-old, who did not stab anyone, who was also running around with their 15-year-old cousin, was ran over by a car. He's been in prison for the past 9 years. Okay? If you think that a 13-year-old who was running around with their 15-year-old cousin with a knife should be tortured, ran over with a car, and then interrogated immediately after that, yes, Ahmad Manshar, and placed in solitary confinement, you are a freak. You are literally a freak. It is also illegal to do that, for the record. There are, luckily, human rights, international humanitarian law. The reason why people are coming in here is because I responded like this to one of these fucking supposedly apolitical freaks. I said, indefensible monsters, the Quds News Network. Ahmad Manshar was kidnapped 8 years ago when he was only 13 years old. This leaked video shows an Israeli officer interrogating him. This is how the Israelis treat Palestinian children. He said, amazing journalism, Hassan. I said, you think it's okay to torture and extract the confession out of a 13-year-old, you depraved freak? Do you know anything about this case? He was run over by a car before this. His 15-year-old cousin who stabbed 2 people was shot dead on the spot. He was interrogated without his parents present. He was interrogated without a lawyer present. Immediately after being run over with a car, he had wounds on his head. It is completely and utterly ridiculous. But of course, you can very clearly go, well, he was stabbing people, which he wasn't. He objectively was not. He ran around and stabbed people. He did not. Here's the Associated Press story that summarizes it. And I also linked the Amnesty International plea to release Ahmad from solitary confinement and the prison that he's been in, where he basically grew up from 13 to, I guess now, since 2015. Been 8 years. No, the thing is, he wasn't even falsely accused of the stabbing. The Israeli courts literally found that he did not participate in the stabbings. There was no like blood on his knife or anything like that. He's serving a 9.5-year sentence for attempted murder. It's fucking ridiculous. And people's unironic positions at this point are just like, there's even a video after he got hit with the car where people are shouting for him to die. It's horrific stuff. Yeah, like, this is a kid, dude. This is a kid. I hope people understand this. This is a 13-year-old, okay? If a 13-year-old Israeli did the same thing, I still would not think that it would be appropriate to fucking torture them and put them in solitary confinement or have the goddamn Supreme Court post hoc slap together a new law that they literally apply after they pass the law so that he could be held indefinitely at the age of 13. Like a new terrorism designation was given to child terrorists that they retroactively applied to Ahmad. It's fucking nuts. And I don't know what this dude's like personal politics are, but I don't think he's like anti-Palestinian. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But it is very shocking to me that like these guys will literally take any position they can because they probably think I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And this makes it seem like Ahmad Manazra was like completely fucking living his life and then that was just like ripped off the streets or something. I guess that's the reason where a lot of people just like farm this thinking that like I don't know what I'm talking about, despite the fact that I talked about it on stream. You're replying to a guy who cares more about YouTuber drama than anyone dying. They have no sympathy. It's just like shocking to me that this is, it's shocking, I guess, more so to me that this is like a farming operation that works. You know what I mean? And I think it's mostly because I suspect he didn't fucking know the full details and saw something on Reddit and thought, oh, this is a good opportunity to strike without like reading up on it again. Or even if now he's read up on it, he probably can still try and justify it by being like, look at the video. He's running around with a knife. A 13-year-old under no circumstances should be put under this condition, okay? There's no world in which this is appropriate or acceptable. It's not morally permissible, and it's also not legally permissible either, you know? The reason why I'm bringing this up, though, is because while this dipshit doesn't have any real politics associated with it and is just simply trying to drama bait and drama farm, there are, however, plenty of people who do legitimately have a political, ideological position and have been screaming about, screaming from the rooftops about how all of these people that are being released that are prisoners, and actually they're prisoners because of crimes, okay? What is this? Even more horrific example of this is the imprisonment of Isra Jabis, whose vehicle was shot up by the IDF until it burned down. She wasn't allowed any help or medical care until 60% of her body was burned off. She only received painkillers and no attention for her amputated fingers and is still in solitary confinement. I haven't seen that. Your haters' absolute contempt for you. Blot out any logical fact that counters our argument. I hate it. I know. I don't think that victims should be perfect. I don't think that the occupation demands that victims are perfect. They're not. Regardless, though, your expectation should not be that, like, these are perfect victims. Your expectation should be to abide by at least some standards that show a semblance of morality when incarcerating a fucking 13-year-old, okay? In that situation, the 13-year-old with the knife is not the animal. The whole-ass adult and the entire structure that imprisoned him and placed him in solitary confinement and broke him and developed where he developed schizophrenia, that is the animalistic, barbaric structure, okay? A 13-year-old is innocent, man. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, here, no caller ID. Nice pictures on the beach today. Who is this? I am nobody. Can you post a story where you condemn Hamas so this can all end?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mutaz. How are you?
I'm fine.
Fine. Fine day to go to the beach. Lovely.
So this is like, this is probably some fucking random dickhead, for the record. I don't think that this is the IDF. I think this is some random dickhead who found his phone number and is like harassing a dude who's constantly living under the threat of drones and IDF rockets for the crime of course, being Palestinian and also being a journalist inside of Gaza.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, another stabbing case detainee released. I shared pics. I shared on Reddit, and Reddit didn't like it. Yeah, woman reunites with her mother. She was captive by occupiers for 2,966 days. So, she is she's the woman that was released, right? This is the other woman. You saw the video of it. Okay. By the way, don't fucking send your Reddit bullshit here, okay? To get me to defend it. Like, yeah, Reddit is a shithole. You should know that. That should be your starting position. And you should be aware that it's just gonna suck, okay? If you have a better article on what she did, we can cover that. But as far as I understand, that woman specifically, okay, was arrested and was permanently jailed, basically indefinitely held in indefinite detention for the crime. No, that's not the woman with the fingers cut off. I don't know that story. I've just read it in the chat, but that woman basically was placed in involuntary or indefinite detention for the crime of having a settler claimed that she wanted to stab someone. They didn't find any evidence whatsoever. Just a settler at a bus stop said she wants to stab people, and everyone was afraid of her. So they fucking apprehended her. Okay? That's it. In prison for fucking 6 years. Israeli detention for 6 years. She was 16 years old. Okay? 16 fucking years old. It's ridiculous. Except it doesn't matter. Like, there are people that are going to be released. There are people that are going to be released that have done shit, right? Like Ahmed is a great is a good example of someone who is not like perfectly innocent, except they're 13, so they're as close to perfectly innocent as you possibly can get. Okay? He was running around with a knife with his 15-year-old cousin. But the idea that a 13-year-old deserves to be tortured and placed under indefinite detention and also solitary confinement, like, that's crazy. That's just unacceptable. You're a sicko. Family celebrates the return of freed Palestinian prisoner Marah Bakir. Bakir is one of the 39 prisoners released by Israel in exchange for 13 Hamas captives under a Qatar-mediated deal. Jerusalem, with tears of joy rolling down her cheeks and a look of utter disbelief, Sassam Bakir ran down a flight of steps. Marah is one of the 39 Palestinian women. I told you Marah is beautiful, Sassam told journalists as she hugged her daughter and showered her with endless kisses. Not because she's my daughter, really, but Marah is beautiful. You just got to see for yourself. Before her imprisonment, she was a 16-year-old high school student at the Al Maimuna school in occupied East Jerusalem's Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. Every day, she would make her way from her family home in Beit Hanina to school, crossing an expressway that runs between East and West Jerusalem. While on her way, on October 12, 2015, Israeli forces shot and arrested her for allegedly attempting to stab an Israeli officer. Bakir and her family denied the accusations. When she was arrested, Bakir was lying on the pavement with 12 gunshot wounds to her arm and hand, which have left her with permanent damage. She was sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison. And a child, when imprisoned, Bakir was due to complete her sentence and return home in 4 months' time. I needed my mother's love. Newly freed, Bakir told Al Jazeera that her time in prison was hard, but she had endured it with her faith in God and the support of her family and fellow Palestinian prisoners. There were many difficult times in prison, but just like anyone else going through life, they passed. Prison was especially difficult because I was young when I was jailed and I needed my mother's love and my family's support. Although there are many fellow prisoners who took care of me and helped me, nothing can replace a mother's love. About 8,000 Palestinians remain in jail, including the 3,000 who have been detained over the past 7 weeks amid an increasing number of armed Israeli raids across the West Bank. Okay? And there's no celebrations. Ahead of Bakir's release, her family said they did not have any information about when she would be coming home, but they knew that if the Israeli occupying force stormed your house, that meant that you're most likely going to have your relative, come home. How fucked up is that? They literally fucking stormed the houses of the Palestinian prisoners that they were releasing, like the family members of the Palestinian prisoners they were releasing. Yeah, the announcement is the occupation storming your house. How fucked up is that? Israeli forces also blocked all entry to the neighborhood where Bakir's family is located. They have stationed soldiers in front of the house, ensuring no groups can gather. The 17-year-old girl released yesterday. The 17-year-old prisoner Zaina Abdo was detained by the Zionist entity for incitement on social media. I don't know what her charges were, but if you have an article, that would be better. But yeah, I remember the details of this one specifically because I remember like they said when you hear her name mentioned on Israeli Twitter, they're like, oh, she was trying to stab people. But when you look at the details of the case, remember, this is the occupying force. They fucking do not, under any circumstance, ever hold a consistent principle or or uphold habeas corpus and regular due process in their treatment under the court system for Palestinians as they do for Israelis. So just, something to remember. And there are so many instances like this. There are so many. Here's Adamir, the Palestinian prisoner organization that wrote about this in 2017. Jerusalemite child received sentence of 8.5 years. Palestinian child Marah Bakir has been sentenced by an Israeli court to 8.5 years in prison, including 10,000 NIS fine. Marah Bakir is a 17-year-old girl from the city of Jerusalem, was arrested on October 10th, 2015, after she was shot 10 times in her left arm by an Israeli soldier. According to an affidavit, Marah was not carrying anything, and when the soldier asked her to raise her hand, she did so, but he pushed her, which made her fall on the ground. When the police attended to the scene, a police officer pushed her to the ground again, causing her to hit her head with the ground. The police officer started searching her body with his hands, took her headscarf off, and took her clothes off until he reached her underwear. She was later transferred in a degrading manner by an ambulance to Hadassah Ain Karem while she was left without clothing despite her request to cover her body. Later, an investigator from the police attended the hospital while she was naked and her body bleeding and asked her if she tried to stab a soldier, which she denied. Later, she was forced to enter the operating room without being informed of the nature of the operation or her medical status. She was then put in a room with her hand and leg tied to the bed all the time, with the presence of 2 male guards who cursed her and her mother repeatedly. One of the guards told her to die, and another guard took a selfie with her against her will. Marah was taken to the court on a wheelchair with the legs cuffed, and currently she's suffering from fractures in her arm. She got shot 12 times in her fucking arm. Why? Suspicion that she might want to stab someone. You think that shit's all right? I don't think it is. No due process. And that's like, but that is yet another number. In the eyes of the broader ultra-Zionist, ultra-nationalist people who are defending Israel, she's another terrorist. They say, if you want to understand like where this mentality comes from, I'm explaining it to you. People look at that and go, well, she's yet another terrorist. She probably did want to stab someone. She probably, even if she didn't have a knife, if she did, she might have stabbed someone. And that's why it's okay. It's okay to fucking apprehend her as such and shoot her, because it's just straight up disregard for the humanity of these people that live under a brutal occupation. Okay? Think about that. 16 years old, shot, degraded, humiliated, tortured, shot. All of this is well documented, by the way, just so you understand.
Triggered the war after they stormed southern Israel, killing 1,200 people and abducting 240 others. Also on Friday, Israel released 39 Palestinian women and teenage boys from prison as part of the temporary truce, which calls for the release of 150 Palestinians over the coming days. The deal also allowed humanitarian groups to scale up delivery of critical supplies into the Gaza Strip. For the first time in weeks, aid reached northern Gaza. Lilia Luciano is in Tel Aviv. Lilia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Michelle. Look, those are all crucial and historic developments, but both sides have made it clear that the war is not over. Still here in Hostage Square, the focus is on receiving that next group of hostages with open arms. The first 24 of some 240 hostages taken by Hamas were released Friday. Videos like this one of 9-year-old Ohad Munder stepping into a Red Cross truck, the first proof of life family could believe.
By the way,
I'm waiting to see Ohad, and I can't wait to give him his Rubik's Cube, which I know he really loved, and he probably missed it so much. And that's the first thing he takes everywhere he goes.
Ohad ran.
Why are you watching CBS to see what lies look like? Yes, I'm watching American Western news because I want to understand what the Western world is seeing and how they are covering this story.
And to his father's arms, though his grandfather.
It's I mean, this is a beautiful sight regardless. It's just, I wish that it was one that they offered to Palestinians as well.
Father is still captive, but after 49 days held.
But like, ultimately, it's not one that will ever be afforded to the Palestinians. It's also being deliberately tampered and squashed. The Israeli government is basically fucking, stopping any kind of mention from the Palestinian side that shows their humanity from going out there. And not only that, but if you look on Twitter, the Israeli side, at the very least, like the ultra-nationalists who are defending the Israeli occupation, for example, have been abhorrent in their display of racism and dehumanizing rhetoric towards Palestinians, as they just fucking straight up deny humanity to any of the people, the hostages that were released from the Israeli side, and just straight up claim that every single person that was released is actually a terrorist and should not have ever been released. You know?
Family reunions are underway for these 6 Israeli elderly women, 4 children, their mothers, and 11 Thai and Filipino freed hostages who made it from Gaza into Egypt and finally across the border into Israel, where the children were handled by soldiers and experts instructed to minimize the shock of the shift. And what is essential in that care?
The safest, least overwhelming surrounding. We should take into account the fact that they have most probably been held in darkness. There is no electricity and they probably have been kept in the tunnels. So even seeing light, noises would be very frightening. They should be handled like the tiniest baby.
In exchange, Israel released 39 children and women held in their jails. Upon their arrival in the West Bank, parents overwhelmed with relief embraced their children, as did the public, defying a ban the Israeli government placed on any celebration for their freedom. The governments of Israel, Egypt, and their families already know who will be released today. We, of course, won't know for sure until those next images emerge of that handover. Dana?
All right, Lily, so much emotion on both sides. Thank you very much. President Biden says the hostage release is only a start and expressed hope that the truce will be extended and the Americans being held will soon be released. The president praised U.S. diplomacy in achieving.
I mean, I'll take both sides coverage, dude. Are you kidding me? It's so fucking loud outside, by the way. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but Murad is operating some fucking power tools like directly outside of the fucking room, and I can't even hear myself think, really.
Achieving the temporary halt in fighting, but faced pro-Palestinian demonstrators while attending a Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Nantucket. Mr. Biden is spending the holiday weekend on the island with family. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is traveling with the president. Weijia, good morning.
Dana, good morning to you and good morning to everybody. The Biden family actually attends that tree lighting ceremony here in Nantucket every year, but this year, organizers had to pause the event to ask those protesters to stop shouting. President Biden focused his attention on that hostage deal that he played a direct role in brokering, saying that he expects dozens more hostages to return to their families in the coming days.
This morning, there are up to 10 Americans who are still unaccounted for. President Biden said not all of their conditions are known, but they could be among the hostages.
We don't know what the list of all the hostages are and when they'll be released, but we know the numbers they're going to be released. So it's my hope and expectation they'll be soon.
U.S. officials are carefully tracking 3 Americans who could be released in the next few days. 2 women and 4-year-old Abigail, whose parents were killed by Hamas. The president expressed optimism for their return after some 24 hostages were released today.
Can't come without going to the bookstore.
President Biden spent the day with his family in Nantucket, but he has received several briefings from his national security team, which has been working the phones and shuttling between Israel and Qatar to negotiate a hostage deal.
Today has been a product of a lot of hard work and weeks of personal engagement. I, along with my team, have worked around the clock to secure the release.
President Biden says he expects to get the names of the hostages who will be released in the second wave very soon. Of course, Hamas plays a critical role.
I love Biden being like, oh yeah, I did this, by the way, taking credit for it. While simultaneously, what he should be taking credit for is what he did for the past month, where this deal was on the table, where tens of thousands of people died, were murdered by the Israeli side, as a matter of fact. What did he do in that process? Oh, he just told Israel to fuck off and do whatever the fuck they want to do, or told everyone to fuck off and let Israel do whatever the fuck they want to do, which was kill a shit ton of men, women, and children, elderly, and destroy 43% of the infrastructure in general, which is awesome. It's great. We kept reiterating Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel has a right to defend itself. How do we know that? Because the terms and conditions of this negotiation is fucking identical to the one that was brought forward a month ago. Just so you remember. And every single person said it's repugnant. It's morally repugnant to ask for a ceasefire and a hostage swap. Morally repugnant. That's awesome. I didn't forget. Why are we acting like we all forgot? Why are we acting like they were totally peaceful doves in this entire process and not like actively aiding and abetting an ongoing genocide, which is precisely what this is.
in carrying out any agreement. And the president says he does not trust Hamas to do anything right, but he does trust the group will act under pressure. Brooke?
Okay, Weijia, thanks. A lot of people obviously waiting to see what names those are.
For more on the Palestinian prisoners released as part of today's agreement, I want to bring in CNN's Nima Al-Bagher,
this video is
joining
really
us
good.
from Jerusalem right now. Nima, I understand you were outside a prison in Jerusalem where Palestinian prisoners were released and reunited with their families. What did you see?
Well, Wolf, we weren't allowed to see anything. Israeli authorities blocked off roads, corralled the media into one location, brought the Palestinians in through the back door when they received them, and then only allowed family members to come in very limited single file in individual cars. And there's a reason for that. Because unlike the images of celebration, which you might have seen from Ramallah and the West Bank, here in East Jerusalem, Israeli authorities were better able to enforce the diktat of their far-right national security minister, who has deemed the prisoners released today as terrorists. But not just that, he said any Palestinian who celebrates will themselves be charged as terrorists. I mean, just to break that down a little bit, there is no grounds to call them terrorists because by Israel's own reckoning, those 39 prisoners were 15 minors, 10 of whom were only charged, and 24 women, 23 were detained, not charged, and 10 of the minors were detained, not charged. It complicates telling this story. So
I'm so glad that there is I love how fucking low the goddamn bar is, where this is literally one of the first times that I've ever heard someone on CNN describe this process, which you only hear from Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, Adamir, and all these other fucking international humanitarian organizations and Palestinian humanitarian organizations and Israeli humanitarian organizations. But this is precisely what is the case here, right? The apprehension structure is completely unjustifiable. It's morally impermissible. It's completely ridiculous, right? It's barbaric. And this is the first time I've ever heard someone on CNN openly mention it. That's crazy. How can we sit here and act like these guys are doing objective journalism? How? It's so fucked up, man. It's so fucked up. It blows my mind that this is the truth, and yet CNN rarely has ever covered it from this perspective. At most, they say some of the prisoners were, they talk about them like they're prisoners. They don't mention half the time they're fucking children and women, or they'll say they're accused of a crime without elaborating on what that structure looks like.
imagine your daughter has come home to you and you have to hide indoors to express your joy. I want to show you this video, Wolf, of a daughter reuniting with her mother that was sent to us by the family. Take a listen. That young lady you see there, the reason,
I mean, there's something poetic about fucking criminalizing Palestinian joy, you know what I mean? Like, it's incredibly tragic, and in some ways, perfectly representative of what the Israeli apartheid looks like. Palestinian joy and celebration is illegal, okay? We don't even want you to fucking celebrate.
There's no reason, it's her daughter, but beyond that, she had been arrested at the age of 16, convicted at 17 for 10 years, accused of attempted stabbing. Her family and her lawyer and Israel.
By the way, this is precisely the reason why, no matter how much you say Hamas is anti-Semitic, Palestinians are homophobic, they're anti-trans, they fucking don't like women, whatever the fuck you're saying. No matter how much you repeat that to yourself, in order to portray the Palestinian plight as bad, okay, and somehow that like Israel's security concerns are valid, no matter how much you recycle that narrative in your mind, there's always going to be a fucking point where that breaks. That dam will always break. If you have any morality, if you have a heart, if you have the capacity to demonstrate empathy, you are going to inevitably go, okay, dude, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Not allowed. They attacked the gathering outside of her house and have surrounded her house. They're firing smoke grenade over her house. They're attacking Israel's home, dude. Wait, really? According to urgent correspondence, special forces and the occupation police stormed the home of prisoner Isra Jabis in Jerusalem and removed those inside. Oh, there it is.
Israeli and Palestinian rights groups say that this was a miscarriage of justice. Her family had taken this all the way to the Israeli Supreme Court, and her mother had lost hope. So the idea that Israel's far-right figures are...
Al Jazeera correspondent, hold on. They are live from the hospital where the Israeli hostages are taken. They said that they were in perfect condition. I mean, Hamas took care of them, and what Israelis did to the Palestinians. Yes, Hamas has to take care of them because that's their bargaining chip. Like, I mean, it's not simply just humanitarian reasons, which I'm sure not every fucking Hamas person is like a barbaric monster, obviously. Okay? Where is the... Does anyone have a link? Israel can just rearrest the...
It's a very fluid situation, and it looks like you might need to move again. So we will leave you there for now, but no doubt we will...
Bring that... you know, the 2.3 million people in Gaza have endured over the last 7 weeks or so. A lot of the families also that we've spoken to are very much aware of the fact that there are still thousands of Palestinians in Israeli jails, and there is no sign of them being released anytime in the future. A number of the families that we've spoken to are expecting a family member to be released today, have more than one loved one in jails, and only, as I say, only one of them is being released tonight, in theory. And of course, people here are very much under pressure from these ongoing Israeli military raids that happen right the way across the occupied territories, every day, every night now. So, you know, very frightening, very intimidating, and these raids, we understand there's one still ongoing in the city of Jenin. The Palestinian Authority saying that at least 4 people have been killed in that raid, 2 of them teenagers. We were getting reports earlier that the Israeli military had blocked the entrances to both the hospitals in Jenin. We've also heard from the Palestinian Authority that a young man has been killed in the last couple of hours, shot, we don't know by who, but he was shot close to an illegal Israeli settlement.
Omar Shakir went on to CNN to explain the hostage prisoner.
As you know, 39 Palestinian detainees were released from Israeli prisons in exchange for a group of hostages held by Hamas. What can
Omar Shakir is Human Rights Watch, by the way.
you tell us about these women and children and the significance of all of this?
What I can tell you is that the Israeli government has been systematically arresting Palestinians for more than half a century. You have a reality now where you have dual legal regimes in place in the West Bank, where Jewish Israelis and Palestinians who might live across the street are governed under different legal systems. You have more than 2,000 Palestinians who are being held in administrative detention without trial or charge based on secret information. That is a status that isn't used against Jewish Israelis. Mistreatment and torture is routine. Since 2001, the Israeli human rights group Bakati has noted 1,400 complaints of torture, including shackling, sleep deprivation, exposure to extreme temperatures. 3 investigations resulted, 0 indictments. You have a situation in which young children are routinely detained at night.
Remember when certain subreddit backed by a dude who literally fucking doesn't know and doesn't know who the fucking Israeli prime minister is, doesn't know what a Knesset is, was trying to argue that there is sexual violence is not actually a tool of the Israeli occupying force? I remember. It's wild to me that was like unironically an argument that people were making. They were coming in and being like, no, sexual violence is not like commonplace at all, as a matter of fact. And then we found out that half of those motherfuckers didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about. They literally just assumed that position because it was something that I had said. How fucking insane is that? Dude, this is so, oh my God, this is so fucking incredibly, no way, terrorists cried from torture? What's next? Are you gonna say Osama deserved a fair trial? Bruh, you gone full brain rot libtard. Yeah, dude, I've gone full brain rot libtard because I think because I'm not comparing a 13-year-old boy to Osama bin Laden. And yes, even Osama deserves a fair trial. That's how it works, dumbass. We become the animals at that point. Everyone deserves a fair trial unconditionally, no matter how fucking evil they are. But the idea that you would fucking literally compare Osama bin Laden to like a 16-year-old who was shot under the suspicion that she might stab someone for being fucking Palestinian and then locked in jail without a proper trial or proper due process for fucking 6 years, 7 years. At the age of 16, you compared her to Osama bin Laden. Bro, you are literally worse than her as a human. You know that, right? You are worse than, I guess, Osama bin Laden then, too. Because if you're comparing her to Osama bin Laden, you're worse than her and therefore worse than Osama bin Laden. You are a bigger terrorist. Anyway, I shouldn't unban you. Reddit and TikTok, even this chatter, play with weapons against populist intelligence. You cannot expect good arguments from a platform where you don't even know what is written by a human and what isn't. No, I think that this community is like decent, at least. It's relatively decent. We do have a lot of shit stirs and a lot of trolls in general that come in, but overall, it's a fairly, it's the best you're gonna get while simultaneously like combating anti-Semitism. Like there's severe moderation here. This level of severe moderation is really hard to come by, in my opinion, where people can feel comfortable and free to speak their minds. Unless they are behaving like fucking weird, transphobic, anti-Semitic Nazis, you know what I mean? In which case, they will get clapped. It's not going to get better than that. Like, this is the best it's going to get. Let's be real. You know, you're going to see some top-of-the-hour ad breaks, which I'm sure is annoying at the top of the hour every hour. But you can avoid them by subscribing for $5 or free. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. But that's it.
I need tonight.
Al Jazeera reporter Nijwan Simri is at the house of Isra Jabiz, one of the Palestinian women to be released tonight. Israeli forces are storming the houses in Jerusalem, apparently getting people out of the house before the arrival of Isra. Why so many forces are mobilized?
אני לא מהמשפחה, אבל אף אחד לא אמר שאסור שעיתונאים יהיו כאן. ובדיוק בקשר إذا كما تشاهدون قوات كبيرة من شرطة وحرس الحدود اقتحموا منزل عائلة إسراء جعابيس وبدأوا بإخراج أقربائها، يعني العائلة الضيقة هنا. قوات كبيرة يريدون إخراج الجميع من هنا. هذا تكرر يوم أمس أيضا في منزل أسيرات أخريات. قوات الاحتلال لا تريد أي أحد هنا. بطبيعة الحال هذا.
They keep chasing the journalists away to prevent Isra Jabiz's freedom arrival moment from being covered by the press. They don't like to see hugs, kisses, and such things. This is how Palestinians are dehumanized. Yeah, they literally are forcibly trying to stop. They are literally forcibly trying to kick the relatives out, keep the relatives out of the house, kick the journalists out. They forcibly do not want any kind of celebration to be filmed even. Why is the question you must ask. You must ask yourself, why? Why is it that they are so fucking scared and so worried? Isra Jabiz is the Palestinian woman that was seriously injured. Police officer, she detonated a car bomb in 2015. Jabiz is a 31-year-old Palestinian, planned to detonate a gas tank near a soldier's hitchhiking station close to Ma'ale Adumim. Police officer Moshe Chen stopped Jabiz's car, at which point she yelled, Allahu Akbar, and detonated a bomb. Holy fuck, this Wikipedia article is crazy. This is the one that the chatter was talking about, I think. The one where she didn't get, she did not get medical treatment, right? That's the one, right? Chatter? The one that Chatter was talking about? Isra Jabiz was born on July 22nd, 1984. Al-Quds, Jerusalem, the fourth of 9 sisters and brothers. She was arrested following an electrical system failure in her car, which caught fire when she was still trapped inside. It resulted in first, second, and third degree burns. The Wikipedia article says that she had a car bomb and wanted to blow it up. I don't know the exact details of this, but what I do know is if you're fucking lit on fire, it wasn't a bomb. That's some bullshit. I mean, I don't like her, man. I don't know if she's, I don't like her, man, if she's a suicide bomber. It doesn't matter, dude. You have to fucking, you literally have to. You have to fucking treat people seriously, okay? People are saying that the cooking gas canister in her car went off by accident and she almost died, got fully covered in burns. Israel neglecting severely burned prisoners' knees. Isra Jabiz suffered burns and charged with attempted murder after a car exploded near Israeli checkpoint in 2015. I feel scared when I look at my face in the mirror. So imagine what others must feel like when they look at me. Those are the words of Israr Jabez, 33-year-old Palestinian mother from Jerusalem who has been languishing in Hasharon, the only Israel prison for Palestinian female prisoners. She's accused by Israel of attempted murder after blowing her car up at a checkpoint, a charge she denies. Her burns, she claims, are the result of an explosion in the car following a technical fault. Broken on the inside, physically burned, and an immense amount of pain, Jabez said last week in a letter dictated to her lawyer that she does not receive adequate medical treatment from the Israeli prison system. Here's the problem, okay? Here's the issue. There's no fucking proper trial. So I have nothing to go on other than what the Israeli government is saying and what she's saying. And if you trust the Israeli government across the board, okay, if you trust the Israeli government unconditionally and across the board, a government that is an apartheid regime, then yeah, she's a car-bombing terrorist, and fuck her, who gives a shit? If you trust her perspective, which I'm more sympathetic to, considering that she is Palestinian and living under an occupying regime and under an apartheid, okay, I am more sympathetic to her plight regardless. However, whether you consider her a terrorist or not does not change the reality that she is supposed to get the proper medical condition, the proper medical treatment, that every single prisoner deserves, okay? Israel freezes their dead detainees until their corpses complete their sentences to deprive surviving families of burying their family members. They're maybe the most inhumane government on the planet. I've never heard of this before. What? I don't know if that's correct or not. I have not heard that before. Not a Twitter thread. It is well-known fact by Palestinians. No, I don't want to fucking hear it like a Twitter thread. It was upvoted on your subreddit, so it must be real. Brother, I don't go on my own fucking subreddit. And I also don't trust anything immediately on any subreddit. So why don't you exercise the same level of caution and care that I have on not just my subreddit, but just any subreddit in general. Unless it's from like B'Tselem, or if it's from like a trusted journalist, a trusted journalistic outlet or a humanitarian rights group, I'm gonna, it seems fucking nutty, but it could be real. But I'm gonna be more cautious. Palestinians demand Israel hand over body of prominent prisoner. Israel's refusal to hand over the remains of Qadr Adnan has drawn scrutiny in the country's practice of keeping bodies as leverage to bargain for Israeli remains. What the fuck? In Israel, Palestine, oh my God, it is real. What the fuck? Dude, this is literally what I mean when I said, like, every day, even after years and years of covering this shit, and I've been covering this for fucking years. I've been an advocate for years. And every day there's something new that I find out where I'm like, what are you saying? That's anti-Semitic, right? Like, that's an anti-Semitic conspiracy. Like, there's no fucking shot. Like, it sounds like a conspiracy. Like, the cum extraction shit was shocking to me. The first couple of days of the conflict, the first couple of days of the bombing campaign, chatters would come in here and be like, did you know that Israel has a semen extraction squad? And I was like, no, they don't. Shut the fuck up. And I was like, come on, I've heard of all the stories, like the skin bank and all this stuff, right? Like, I've heard all of that. There's no fucking way. And then you find out that, yeah, no, they do actually have a cum squad that is literally, how do I find out about the cum squad? Because Israel themselves openly celebrate it and praise it, which, blows my mind at that point. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they reporting this as though this is something that's totally normal? They just tweeted it out. What the fuck? And it seems like this is another one of those circumstances. Palestinian imprisonment continues even after death. The policy of post-mortem detention leaves grieving families without closure. A recent report found that Israel is keeping hundreds of bodies in its infamous cemeteries of numbers. Shadi had gone out to carry a suicide bombing at the entrance of the illegal Israeli settlement on Ariel in occupied West Bank, killing himself and wounding 15 Israelis. We had no idea that he was planning to carry out an attack, Nasser says. If I had any suspicions, I would have beaten him up. I would have thrown him at home. A father losing his son, how am I supposed to feel? 15 years later, Israel continues to refuse to return Shadi's body, or what's left of it, to his family's burial. For burial. The youth's remains are said to be in Israel's infamous cemeteries of numbers, along with hundreds of other Palestinians. Palestinian right groups estimated that there are at least 249 Palestinians, including Shadi, buried in cemeteries across Israel's closed military zones, and 9 others in freezers in Tel Aviv. They're in freezers? They're in fucking freezers, dude? Amani Hashem, a Palestinian mother of 2 from Al-Quds, released. Jail since 2016 was released. The occupation forces prevented her family to rejoin by seizing all the confections and cookies prepared to welcome her, but that didn't hold them back from celebrating her returning. Oh my fucking God. They kept Rachel Corrie's body until the court hearing. Rachel Corrie's family didn't know the coroner kept parts of her body. Wait, what? They kept Rachel Corrie's body. You didn't know about the frozen Palestinians? I think the PFLP has said this for years. Well, I didn't know. Bro, this is one of those situations where there is so much unimaginable fucking cruelty that I can't keep track of it all. Think about it this way. For the past 2 months, I have given you information on 75 plus years of endless fucking turmoil and conflict and death and destruction. And almost every single day for the first 2 months, as Palestinians were being slaughtered ruthlessly by the Israeli Air Force, by the Israeli occupying force in general, I would tell you different aspects of the occupation, different aspects, different vectors of cruelty coming from the occupation every single day. I don't think I've repeated, I've definitely repeated a lot of shit, but every single day I have delivered to you new information from the past, and yet there is still more. It's almost impossible to fucking figure out. It's almost impossible to keep track of like every single aspect. You know what I mean? The death of Rachel Corrie. That's wrong. 5 days after her death, Rachel Corrie's body was sent back to Washington State. Thank you. Hassan is a bye. Which, by the way, this was another instance where it's like really fucked up. You know, they murdered her with a bulldozer. But the thing is, like, I guess the cum extraction makes total sense because, like, it's ethno-state activities. You know what I mean? Rachel Corrie Foundation, autopsy doctor admits to violating court order in Rachel Corrie autopsy. The Haifa District Court heard a second day of testimony today in the civil lawsuit. Professor Hiss, the chief pathologist and former head of the Abu Kabir Forensic Institute in Israel, who conducted the autopsy at the request of the Israeli military, admitted he violated an Israeli court order requiring the presence of a representative from the U.S. State Department. The policy was not to allow entrance to the autopsy to anyone who is not a physician or a biologist. I don't get it. So they didn't keep parts or anything. What are you talking about? Am I missing this? Crushed to death. The third bullet point, he disclosed that he kept samples from Rachel's body for histological testing without informing her family. Dr. Hiss admitted that he did not inform the family about their right to bury the samples and that the samples were likely to have been buried with other body samples from the Institute, but he was uncertain. This was the first time the family received confirmation that the Israeli Forensic Institute had indeed kept samples of Rachel's body, despite prior attempts to receive information. Hiss has been subject to lawsuits in Israel brought by families for whom he did not return body parts and samples. Holy fuck, that is ghoulish. Israeli pathologists harvested organs without consent. Wait, what? Israel has admitted. This part I did know actually. The organ harvesting shit. I mean, it's a classic. I thought there was like something new here. That part is a literal. That's a classic. Yeah. Okay. This also happens in America too. It's not an Israel exclusive thing. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like a. Well, a lot of the stuff is not Israel exclusive either. Hassan is a buy. You have to remember, a lot of this stuff is not Israel exclusive. It's just that, like, how do I put it? Israel is a foreign nation that is also simultaneously not a foreign nation. So it's in this unique circumstance where a lot of Americans who otherwise would not recognize the cruelty of the American state can kind of look at it as though it's a foreign nation state. But even though it has the bandwidth of an American state itself, so it's behaving, even when it engages in like acts of violence and unkind behaviors or just straight up like, terrorism, right? Because it's a foreign nation, technically, people look at it and go, what the fuck? That's insane. Don't do that. However, this is not an Israel exclusive thing at all. And most of this stuff is not. I mean, I talk about it. I've talked about a lot of this shit. Like, there are certain things that Israel takes too far, further than even America, or takes to a degree that America took it to back in the day, like in the Jim Crow days or whatever, right? And that is because it's a current ethno state. So, there's a lot of weird stuff that you got to do. But yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to Al Jazeera Live. Let's see what's going on.
Have been killed by Israeli forces fire in different areas. So it's not like this is a place that is safe. But Palestinians, many of them would tell you that those prisoners wouldn't have had the chance to be released if it wasn't for a deal like this one. So there's a lot of, pride, let's call it. They believe that it's time to show some sort.
It's pretty funny to fucking raise the Fatah flag when those motherfuckers ain't doing shit, okay? That's why you'll see in the West Bank a lot of dudes straight up flying Hamas colors now because, like, they did it. Like it or not. It don't matter. You might fucking hate it. I don't agree with them. I don't agree with their worldview in general. The one thing that I do agree with all Palestinians on is that the occupation must end because it's fucking correct. That is the correct position. That's a moral position.
Yet be rearrested by the security forces.
And it happened before. You know, when we talked about the deal that saw the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit being freed as a part of a hostage as a part of an exchange prisoners swap deal, most of those who have been released.
What is this? I don't know if we're freeing a lot of prisoners. A lot more people have died. It's not exactly a win. It's not. But that's how fucking gruesome the conditions are.
As part of that deal, we're talking about 1,000 Palestinians have been rearrested. You know, some have left, some
if you
have
raise
been
the Hamas
deported.
flag, everyone's gonna call you terrorists. They're raising it now.
Almost every day
They're raising
and
it.
out of Palestine.
Bro, there are literally Palestinians that were taken out of prison. Like the moment that they get fucking in front of cameras, they're like, praise Al-Qassam. Fucking Yahya Sinwar is a fucking hero. Like people who literally are just like, this is the greatest, you know, I love Hamas so much. I love the Al-Qassam brigades. I love, like, straight up. At that point, it's like, do I fault them for it? Fuck no. I get where they're coming from. I will never understand that. I will never personally understand what it's like to be imprisoned without any fucking due process whatsoever. You know what I mean? You won't either. You have no idea what that's like. At that point, you don't give a shit who's fucking getting you out of that situation that is allowing you to see your fucking family again. Okay? Abu Ubaidah, save me. Abu Ubaidah, save me. Abu Ubaidah. White woman. Clipped. Yeah, don't even joke about that, honestly. Here's Itamar Ben-Gvir celebrating. Following the deal that came to fruition, terrorists living in East Jerusalem were released. The police did well to implement my policy and prevent them from celebrating. Bro, this is like, he's like a comical fat kid. You know what I mean? He's like, like he literally is like, yeah, I didn't let them celebrate. Like, he's like a villain. He is actually like a childish villain. Like, yeah, what are you, Eric Cartman? Like, what the fuck do you mean? How do you live like this? How do you fucking live like this? How? Just so, he is like an online troll. Fucking terrorist ass motherfucker donkey, dude. Holy shit. Oh, I'm not letting the Palestinians celebrate. Oh, it's great. It's like, fuck you, man. Why is that so exciting for you? Motherfucker is so evil you forget materials analysis. I mean, straight up, it is. It is. Like, how do you get to that level, dude? How broken is your fucking brain? What did the Qassam Brigade's newly released footage look like? Anyway, going back to the system, going back to the situation here. Isra Jabez' situation. I don't know. I don't know what happened. The Palestinians say that she her car caught on fire because she was moving and she had a cooker in the car, I guess. And then she had 3rd-degree burns in 60% of her body, like after they shot at her car. The Israeli government's position is that she had the Israeli version is that she tried to blow up her car at the checkpoint. But how could that be the case when the windows of the car were all intact? The exterior of the car did not even change color. And if there was an explosion, Israel would have been blown up with it into many pieces. I mean, that part is true. 2 years ago, before the accident, Jabez was working at a nursing home, volunteering her time at charities and schools, and dressing up as a clown to entertain the children at the Augusta Victoria Hospital in occupied East Jerusalem. On October 10th, 2015, Jabez was moving furniture in her car to her home in Jabal al-Mukaber neighborhood in Jerusalem. When 500 meters from the Al-Zaim checkpoint in Jerusalem, she lost control of her vehicle. It was 2 weeks after the start of the knife intifada, or the October uprising, which was characterized by individual attacks ranging from stabbings, car rammings, and to a lesser extent, shootings, carried out mostly by Palestinians in their teens and 20s unaffiliated with political factions. Israeli soldiers shouted at Jabez to stop the car, which veered into the adjacent lane. Suddenly, an explosion went off in the car. The Israeli version is that she tried to blow up her car at the checkpoint, but how could that be the case when the windows of the car were all intact? The exterior of the car did not even change color. And if there was an explosion, Israel would have been blown up with it into many pieces. What happened to the car was a technical fault, Mona said. There was an electric contact that affected the airbag in the steering wheel, and the chemicals in the airbag caused the fire. The Palestinian prisoners' rights groups, Adamir, said the fault caused the gas cylinder to blow up. An Israeli soldier approached her after she left her burning car, yelled and pointed his gun at her, and proceeded to arrest her on the spot. The car was not inspected in the aftermath of the incident by Israeli authorities, who, according to Mona, have no interest in entering talks about compensation. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is what I fucking mean. How can you say that this person is not kidnapped at that point? Like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. This is what's so fucking annoying about the situation. You cannot have due process if you're Palestinian. And if you don't have fucking due process, don't say don't scroll. It's fine. It doesn't show anything. It just shows what she looked like with the first skin graft that she got. She was in the Hadassah Ain Karem Hospital before being transferred to the Ramla Prison Hospital, referred to by other inmates as the slaughterhouse. In 2017, she was sentenced to 11 years in prison by the Central Court in Jerusalem on charges of attempted murder. Like, this lady was straight up fucking volunteering at schools and dressing up as a clown to entertain children in fucking hospitals. Like, this is literally, this is the meme. You know what I mean? It's the meme of, like, the person who is, like, saving orphans on her fucking spare time. And then they're just like, yeah, your car lit on fire. You're a terrorist now. And, you know, you're not going to get the proper medical care. And there's not really going to be a fucking due process in play here. And also, you're in jail permanently. And maybe if there's a hostage release in the future, later down the line, we'll release you. But your family can't even fucking receive you. Oh, Al-Qassam release of the second hostages.
الصور التي بثها الجهاز الإعلامي لكتائب القسام عن تسليم كتائب القسام للمحتجزين الإسرائيليين للصليب الأحمر.
The doctor waiting also there. So.
That's crazy, dog. Dude. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. That actually, okay, that's too much. That's too much. That's more than I expect.
للمحتجزين الإسرائيليين للصليب الأحمر.
Bro, every time they're releasing hostages, the next wave they're gonna be like, actually, I'm good. Like, I'm staying.
Goodbye.
The little girl who was thought to be dead is one of the released hostages.
The doctor waiting also there. So. Okay. Okay.
Dude, okay, I'm gonna be honest. This is some crazy PR. They look traumatized as fuck. Wait, what? Am I seeing something different? Maybe I'm looking at something entirely different. Bro, they look like they're chilling. Like, I was expecting them to unironically be fucking insanely traumatized. Like, way more traumatized. No, Stockholm Syndrome is not a real fucking thing. Shut the fuck up. I'm being sarcastic, bro. I mean, dude, I would have expected them to be like genuinely in tattered clothing and like way worse conditions, because the Palestinians, like, I see the Palestinians that live above the tunnels and what they look like, and they are visibly in worse conditions than the fucking than those that were protected by Hamas at this point from literally Israeli rocket fire. I thought they would be shell shocked.
Welcome.
Come on.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if they have other friends and family who are being held hostage by Hamas, they have an incentive to look appreciative. I agree, they look clean though. No, I'm just straight up talking about like their clothing and the way that they look. It actually, unironically, they look to be in better circumstances than I thought. The little girl's body was burned so badly that it took forensic archaeologists more than 6 weeks to identify her. All the remains of 12-year-old Liel Herzoni's ash and bone fragments. May her memory be a blessing. Wait, what is this? This is from November 24th. Wait, what? Survivor Yasmin Parat, new details? What is this? Full story. Wait, Yasmin Parat had another interview? No, this is the old one, right? Israeli child burned completely by Israeli tank fire at Kibbutz Be'eri. Survivor Yasmin Parat provides details on October 7th bloodbath. Wait, what? She describes that girl being killed by an Israeli tank? Wait, no way. It's another... Oh, she did another interview. Oh, this just came out. This is like... Okay, so Yasmin Parat was the only eyewitness testimony to like the crossfire theory at the time. And wait, this is the same program, chat. Look, it's from Khan, the Kalman Lieberman program. This is the same interview, no?
אנחנו יוצאים, פתאום נהיית הפסקת אש מאוד מתוחה, שכל הנשקים מכוונים אלינו. זה אומר שכל החמאסניקים מכוונים אליי ואליו. הוא מתחיל להתפשט תוך כדי ההליכה. הוא ממשיך להוריד תחתונים, גרביים וגופיה, הוא נשאר עירום כביום היוולדו. ככה אנחנו מתחילים ללכת מול כולם, שהוא ערום ואני לפניו, כמגן אנושי. בזמן הזה, כשאנחנו בעצם עוברים את השלב של הסלון והמרפסת, איפה שהיינו בקודם עם הפינת אוכל, אז אני יוצאת לחצר, ושם אני מזהה את טל שלי, את הדס, עדי דגן, ועוד טל שהוא הבן של הזוג, ועוד זוג מבוגרים שוכבים על האדמה והדשא. אתה לא מבין בכלל.
Yeah, by the way, not to like piece this stuff together, but wasn't there literally... What the fuck happening? No, it's not a real fire. It's my brother's doing some shit. That. Okay. Can you take this? Oh, you want to order food too? Here's my phone. No, don't let her in. Then, because then she's gonna... You live with a mad scientist? I do. Here you go. You can put that somewhere. This too. Thank you. And then here's the phone to order. No, we don't let Kaya in here, or Fiona in here, because she's gonna fucking rile Kaya up. Anyway, the other thing that I saw was like, I saw fucking like, I think it was a Haaretz article or something where they were talking about how like these two young girls, they were celebrating how these two young girls were operating the tanks like they've never operated a tank before, like they're heroes, which kind of like, I've been very careful about October 7th stuff because like I have seen the atrocities directly done in the hands of Palestinian militants as well. Because, I mean, there's 800 plus civilians that were murdered, right? So obviously, you know, there's going to be and there is a ton of video footage for it as well. But having said that, despite being super careful and super critical of all the counter narratives that are running, when I see stuff like this, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, this is pro-Israel account. You know, this is a pro-Israeli account. These two girls, not even 25 years old, fought for 17 hours in their tanks, operated weapons they hadn't operated before, killed dozens of Hamas terrorists, and saved an entire kibbutz in the process. I think we'll be okay. Bro, don't you realize that you're posting this? You posting this literally, like, it just like corresponds to, it just corresponds to the other stuff that is coming out from witness testimony.
פשוט פרוסים ומלאים ברסיסים. ירי שלא מפסיק והם שוכבים על הדשא ככה כמו גופות, הם עדיין כולם היו בחיים, אתה רואה את זה. הספקתי עוד ממש תוך כדי יציאה לשאול את טל שלי, טל אתה בסדר? והוא הרים את הראש במבט נורא נורא מבועל, כי הם היו, תבין שהם אפילו...
Also, for the record, like, for those of you saying like, oh, they're kids, what do you mean? Like, not even 25 years old? How old do you think, like, regular infantry is? Hello? Like, what do you guys think, like, yeah, a lot of the fucking American combat troops are also very young, you know? I like that Palestinian 13-year-olds are terrorist males, okay? Israeli occupying force, like, armed personnel, enemy combatants that have been in the fucking military for years that are, like, 24 years old and they're also children. And for the record, like, yeah, they are still very young. They are. But, like, come on. You have to see the fucking double standard here a little bit. At 25, they're basically generals in the IDF. Yeah, they do have a lot of rank inflation. So I'm shocked that they were almost 24 and not like a brigadier admiral or some shit. 25-year-old IDF infantry, their kids, 13-year-old Palestinian detainee, this adult. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely tremendous rank inflation. The ELO is all scuffed.
לא ידעו שיצאתי כי הם היו עם הראש לאדמה. כולם שמו את הראש מול האדמה כדי להגן על עצמם.
את יוצאת איתו החוצה ולאן הולכים?
ואנחנו הולכים את כל החצר, מגיעים לשני סלעים של הטרסות, מטפסים אותם ככה, ואז אנחנו עומדים ממש בכביש, רק פשוט אנחנו בצד השני של הכביש והימם, וזה כביש קטן, כן? כביש צר. מלא שוטרים מכוונים אלינו, צועקים לו במגפון דברים שאני מתארת לעצמי זה שתשחרר אותה, אנחנו מתקדמים עוד קצת אליהם, הוא נותן לי דחיפה, אני רצה מהר לשוטרים, אותו מהר עוצרים, זה הסיפור הצלה שלי. פה אני ניצלת בעצם ומוחזקת על ידי השוטרים, אבל נשארת איתם לעוד 3 שעות לחימה, זאת אומרת פשוט אני עברתי לצד של השוטרים, אבל נשארתי בזירה של בארי ובאירוע הזה.
ואת המחבל ששחרר אותך, מה עושים איתו?
עצרו אותו וחקרו אותו, ודרך אגב, היום אני יודעת, מהאנשים שהיו איתי שם, שהוא מסר המון מידע, צריך להוציא ממנו המון מידע שבדיעבד הציל עוד הרבה אנשים, שזה אפשר להגיד משמח.
כשאת ניצלת ועוברת לצד של המשטרה, כל מי שהשארת אחרייך, אנשינו חיים.
חיים כולם, אתה יודע, אם היו 40, סתם, לא ספרתי את זה, בערך 40 מחבלים, אז הם נשארים עדיין עם 40 מחבלים, כי רק אחד נכנע מתוך ה-40, אז זה לא משנה את הסדר גודל, הם עדיין נשארים באותה סיטואציה.
אבל היינו עם משהו כמו 15 איש משלנו.
יפה, אז עכשיו עם 14.
Bro, Ukrainian soldiers needed a couple months of training to drive Leopards. What the fuck is a 15-year-old doing in a fucking tank? Maybe the Merkavas are like much easier to drive. I don't know. Like, I've heard that like the Merkavas are built for comfort. They got like, they're harder. Oh, well, I don't know. Merkava controls are based on GTA. There's like 4x more equipment. It has toilet. Merkava Mark IV have AC. Comfort tanks for comfort. No, like in comparison to most other tanks, Merkavas are, as far as I understand it, I'm no tank expert, okay? But as far as I have read, the Merkava tanks are, one, significantly more armored than your average tank. They have the trophy system that we've talked about as well, obviously, for incoming rocket fire, like for ATGMs. But then also they have more luxurious settings, which is part of the reason why they don't even rock with the infantry on the side. Guys, remember he's in a tanky KW. No, I don't really care for. I actually have never really cared for tanks in particular. I think tanks are kind of weird. I do find the Imperial Japanese tanks to be kind of cute. Like, I guess that's my only tank take, is that it's like funny that the Japanese tanks from the Imperial Army are like identical to the fucking K-trucks. You know what I mean? That's my only tank take, is that it's funny to me that the Japanese tanks are also portable and tiny in comparison to like European and American tanks. It's so fucking stupid. I've been getting into War Thunder. The Japan tanks are quick. It's just like funny that it is funny to me that the Japanese tanks are tiny, just like fucking every other Japanese car. No, literally, it's like if you put a Japanese tank next to like an American tank, it literally looks like a pony and a horse. Have you ever seen this shit? Look, these ones, is this the Type 87 Chi or whatever? No. Look, they have a Go-Lite tank, dude. Like, come on, dude. Look at this tank. Obviously, this is a specific one, but like, come on, dog. Are you fucking joking? Is this a joke? What the hell? Oh, the light tank is the one I was thinking of. This one. It's like a baby tank. I swear to God, the Ford F450 is larger than this tank. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking. The Ford F-150 is literally larger than these fucking tanks. F-450, sorry. Yeah, it's like a baby tank. Motherfuckers go to Japan one time and think their tanks were cute. No, I don't. I mean, I'm more so just joking about like my lack of tank knowledge. This is ne kapısı? Ne? Ha öyle mi? Niye çalmıyor zili? Okay. Soviets had a good baby tank too. See? But even that baby tank doesn't look that small to me. That's what I'm saying. All right, I unlocked it. Thank you. Thank you for proving my fucking point, dude. Thank you. If there are baby tanks, does that imply the existence of a tankussy? Yes, dude. What do you mean? Look at the Teenus. Hello? What do you mean? Yes, there's definitely a tussy. There's a Teenus. You can see it. A talk, if you want to be gross about it. This thing is the size of a car. Yeah, these are... Dude, this is sick. What the fuck were people doing back then? Like, what was happening? Tankette is a tracked armor fighting vehicle that rims a small tank roughly the size of a car, is mainly intended for light infantry support and scouting. Dude, what were people thinking, dog? That's crazy. A Japanese Type 94 tankette? An Italian Caro Leggero. Okay, now I'm becoming more of a tanky, I think. Because these are so funny. I don't know. Okay, all jokes aside, what I was going to say is, like, other than the Japanese tank situation, and I guess, like, what the fuck? I think the major reason, okay, all jokes aside, I think the major reason why I've never been, like, a big tank guy is because, like, they're death machines and also simultaneously death traps. So I don't know. I feel like, not to be too much of a lame ass, but I do genuinely believe that the world would be better if there were no tanks. You know what I mean? So it doesn't hit the same as like trains. Trains are beautiful. Trains are lovely. Trains are wonderful. Trains provide public transit. They take you from place to place. Trains help you do commerce. Trains are incredibly valuable in infrastructure. Like all the stuff that happens behind the scenes that you don't really think about, like trains do that. So like, I think trains are cool. Tanks, on the other hand, are just for like death and destruction. So it doesn't really hit the same. I don't have the same, I don't really feel the same way about like fighter jets either. I've never been like a big fighter jet guy. I know that plenty of people love that shit. I don't really care for it. I don't know. No, I do know about armored trains. They're fucking sick. What are you kidding me? Even Putin has one. Armored trains are fire. But yeah, I just think that, I don't know. I don't feel the same way about tanks as I do about trains. Anyway, but here, this is a story about why tanks are fucking bad and gross.
ועם 39 מחבלים, בסדר? פשוט רק 2 יצאו. וזה כמויות של אנשים. ואז אני עוברת למשטרה, וישר אני אומרת להם שאני מסוגלת לדבר, ושהם יכולים לחקור אותי ולשאול אותי מה שהם רוצים, ואני באמת יושבת שאני במפקד היחידה, ומתארת לו איך נראה הבית, ואיפה המחבלים, ואיפה הבני הערובה, ממש מציירת לו, תראה, פה בחצר יש 4 בני ערובה ששוכבים ככה על הדשא, ופה יש 2 ששוכבים מתחת לטרסה, ובסלון יש אישה ששוכבת ככה, ויש אישה ששוכבת ככה, ואני אומרת להם על התאומים ועל הסבתא, אותם אני לא ראיתי, באמת, אמה, אתה יודע, כשאני יוצאת, הם היחידים שאני לא רואה אותם, אני שומעת, את ליאל שמעתי כל הזמן, אז אני יודעת בוודאות שהם היו שם. לפי דעתי הם היו כאילו משמאלי, כאילו, לא משנה. אני ניסיתי להסביר להם שהם איפשהו ליד המטבח, כי משם שמעתי את הצעקות, כי אני אולי לא רואה אותה, ואני שומעת מאיפה באות הצעקות. ניסיתי להסביר להם איפה נמצאים כל הבני ערובה, מן הסתם היו יותר מחבלים בבית מאשר בני ערובה, המחבלים היו בממד, הם היו במקלחת, הם היו פרוסים מתחת לכל הטרסה, מתחת לאיזה חלון בסלון שהגן, איזה חלון כזה היה שהגן, התריס שלו הגן מהכדורים, אז כולם ישבו, מלא מחבלים ישבו מתחת, הם תפסו את המקומות היותר טובים, בוא נגיד, להתחבות. אני נשארת שם, בשלוש השעות האלה, בעצם...
So what's happening is, it seems like she just gave the authorities after her and the guy that the Palestinian militant that was like holding her hostage was apprehended. She gave the information. She gave all of the information she could to the authorities about like where hostages may be inside of the kibbutz.
חוקרים אותי לפחות 3 או 4 פעמים כדי להבין איך הבית נראה ומה עושים וכמה בני ערובה, ואתה רואה שבכלל הם לא מבינים את הסדר גודל, שאני אומרת להם בפעם הראשונה שיש כ-40 מחבלים, אומרים לי לא יכול להיות, נראה לי, כאילו נראה שאת מגזימה. לא אומרים לי את זה, אתה יודע, בקטע כאילו, בוא תסתכלי עלינו, אנחנו פה 40. אז אני אומרת להם, הם יותר ממכם. הם לא האמינו, כאילו, זה הייתה עוד התמימות, גם של הצבא שלנו, שאני יוצאת
כלומר, גם בשלב הזה המשטרה לא קלטה את גודל האירוע.
לא קלטה את גודל האירוע. כשאני אומרת 40, הם חושבים שאני אולי מגזימה קצת מההיסטריה.
When I say 40, I think that they're being hysterical. Wait, what?
וזהו, ואז עכשיו אני אחבר לכם קצת מהעדות של הדס דגן, זה לא מהעדות שלה, פשוט שוחחתי איתה ברמה האישית כדי להבין מה קרה לבן זוג שלי, כי בסוף הוא נהרג לידה ורציתי להבין מה קרה, ואז גם דרך הסיפור הזה גם שמעתי את פחות או יותר את התשובה על ליאל. בכל מקרה אני יוצאת, ותבינו שכולם נשארים שם, ומתנהל קרב לחימה, עכשיו פשוט כבר הם יודעים יותר פרטים ממני, והקרב לחימה לא מפסיק. היה ניסיונות של משא ומתן, אפילו אותו מחבל שנכנע, דיבר במגפון עם החברים שלו, כדי לנסות אולי להניע אותם, אבל הם הבנתי
מטעמה של המשטרה הפעם.
כן, מטעמה של המשטרה, מדבר במגפון בערבית, שהוא ערום וצועק להם, והכל כזה, אתה יודע. והם לא משתכנעים.
צריך להגיד כאן משהו בסוגריים, יסמין, יש להניח שעם החבורה הגדולה הזו שהייתה איתכם, חבורת המחבלים, הייתה יודעת כמה טוב מצבה בקיבוץ, באזורים אחרים של הקיבוץ, הסיפור הזה היה נגמר אחרת, נכון?
מה, אם הם היו יודעים
שהם יכולים לקחת את כולכם ולחטוף אתכם.
כן.
לא צריך לנהל משא ומתן עם אף אחד, לא צריך לחייג מעל המשטרה, לא שום דבר.
תראה, את הראשונים, אנחנו רואים היום את כל הסיפורי חטיפה, ורואים, אתה רואה שאת רוב החטיפות עשו ב-10, 11, 12 בבוקר. בשעה 3, הם בעצמם, כמו שכל אזרח יכול לחשוב, הם חושבים שהצבא כבר נמצא בכל מקום. הם יכלו לצאת איתנו 10 פעמים, הלוך חזור.
Holy fuck. Bro, she's saying that the army, like everybody thought the army would have already like seized control of this territory by this point. Like that was the expectation, including like what the Hamas militants or whoever the Palestinian militants were there at that time. And that was not the case. They could have, Yasmin Parada saying like they could have gone back and forth 10 times and kept everyone hostage inside of that kibbutz. Because the IDF had not fucking secured the area at all.
אבל הם לא האמינו שזה המצב, אז הם ביקשו את המשטרה. בכל מקרה, אני אקצר לכם, 3 שעות נוספות אני נמצאת בלחימה מאוד מאוד מסיבית, אני פשוט בצד עכשיו של הטובים כביכול. אבל כל האחרים נמצאים תחת חילופי אש מאוד.
Holy shit, she's saying for another 3 hours, but now I'm on the side of the supposed good guys.
טובים כביכול. אבל כל האחרים נמצאים תחת חילופי אש מאוד מאוד כבדים. עם מחבלים שהבנתי שהם לא משתפים פעולה ואומרים שאם לא תיתנו לנו לצאת בחיים, ובאיזשהו שלב מגיע טנק מול הבית, שאני חושבת שהשעה 7:30 בערב, כי אתם צריכים להבין, זה היה שעון קיץ עדיין, וזה מתחיל כבר להחשיך, ואני זוכרת תהיתי לעצמי למה יורים פגזים של טנק בתוך הבית, וגם שאלתי את אחד החבר'ה שהייתי אז הסבירו לי שזה בשביל לשבור את הקירות, כדי לעזור לתאר את הבית.
So they explained to me that it was to break the walls in order to help purify the
אני יודעת,
house.
ועכשיו אני אעבור קצת...
And now I turn for a bit to my conversation with
Hadass. אני
Hadass.
יודעת שהדס דגן, שסיפרתי לכם שהיא שכבה הם שכבו 4 חבר'ה בחוץ צמודים אחד ליד השני, ועוד 2 שישבו מתחת בטרסה.
הדס שהוא מזכיר בעלת הבית.
כן, בעלת הבית, הדס דגן.
Lady of the house, wait. What does he say? I remind you that Hadass was the lady of the house where they were originally caught by Hamas.
בעלת הבית.
כן, בעלת הבית, הדס דגן. היו 2 בומים גדולים מבחינתה, שאני יודעת שזה 2 פגזים שנורו מהטנק, אפילו לא ידע, כי עוד פעם הם לא רואים כלום, הם מסתכלים לאדם.
Purify is just shitty translation. Yeah, I think they mean like clear, probably. She didn't even know that because again, they can't see anything. They're looking down.
היא סיפרה לי במילים האלה, אמרת לי, יסמין, כשהיה את 2 בומים הגדולים, אני הרגשתי שאפתי לשמיים, היא הייתה לה כמו תחושה שהיא מתה וחזרה לחיים, אבל היא בגדול הרגישה שהיא עפה.
Purify the house, the crazy ethnic cleansing dog whistle? No, dude, it's just a mistranslation most likely. Briefly, she feels like she flew in the air and landed. No, I don't think that occurred.
נראה לי שזה היה המצב. והיא אמרה לי,
told me it took me 2 to 3 minutes to open my eyes. I don't feel my body, my artery was cut. Wait, what? When I opened my eyes, I saw that my husband Adi was dying. Tell me how she put her thumb on his main artery. And then how he stopped living at that point. Today I believe that they were human shields for her naturally. They were 2 big guys and she's a small woman, so she was like underneath them. Yasmin, there are 2 things that require clarification at the moment.
באיזה שלב ואיך כל בני הערובה שמוחזקים עדיין בבית, איך הם נהרגים, ואיך הדס יוצאת משם בחיים?
היחידה, צריך להגיד מכל האירוע הזה.
The translation is accurate. The word in Hebrew they say translates to purify. Jesus. Okay, maybe I was wrong. I was being charitable, you know? So much for that fucking charitability. Okay, well. The only one, it must be said, from that whole event, the only you and Hadass.
רק את והדס יצאתם בחיים.
תבינו שמכל האירוע שהוא בערך מסתיים. אני יצאתי משם ב8:30 בערב. אני יוצאת ב5:30, אני במשטרה, ואני נשארת עד 8:30 בערב, 6 לחימה מטורפת. זה שעות של לחימה בין שני הצדדים. כולם שם, תבינו, שאם מישהו שוכב עם 4 אנשים, שוכבים אחד ליד השני, על דשא כזה בגינה, אז הם כל הזמן שם, חשופים למאות אלפים של כדורים ורסיסים שעפים באוויר. אי אפשר לא להיפגע מדבר כזה. להגיד לך בסוף, מי נהרג מאיזה כדור של מי, אי אפשר לדעת. אבל זה מהחילופי ירי. לרמת הבנתי, כי הדס יצא משם בחיים והיא מדברת, לא היה שם.
So Hadass says there were no executions and she got alive and there were no executions or anything like that.
וידוי הריגה או משהו כזה, לפחות לא החבר'ה שלה, כי היא מספרת לי שאחרי
שהיא
תוממה משני הפיצוצים הגדולים, הרים את הראש או משהו כזה, היא הרגישה שבעלה מדמם עליה, הייתה מלאה בדם שלו.
She was covered in blood, I saw her afterwards.
והיא אמרה לי שגם טל שלי ששכב
מימינה, and she told me that my partner Tal, who was lying down, he stopped moving by that point.
ואז אני זוכרת שהיא מספרת לי את הדבר הבא, היא אומרת לי, הילדה לא הפסיקה לי.
The girl, 12-year-old Liel Hastroni, did not stop screaming all those hours.
היא לא הפסיקה לצרוח.
She didn't stop screaming. I remember when I was there for the first hour, she did not stop screaming.
ואז היא אמרה לי ביסמין שהיו את השני פגזים האלה.
And then she told me, Yasmin, when those 2 shells hit, she stopped screaming.
אז הייתה דממה.
There was silence then.
אז מה אתה יכול להבין מזה? שאחרי שהיה את האירוע המאוד מסיבי שם של הירי,
the shooting with, which concluded with 2 shells, that's pretty much when everyone died.
זה לפחות אני יודעת ככה
At least that is what I know from my conversation with Hadas, who describes it. And she, for some reason, maybe because she's a small woman, and all the shrapnel hit her and my partner somehow, her husband and my partner.
היא לא נראתה נורמלי כשהיא יצאה, כן, היא הייתה נראית, אני הכרתי אותה בבוקר, ואם היית רואה איך היא נראתה בערב, זה לא אותו בן אדם. אבל איכשהו היא שרדה את זה, שום רסיס לא פגע בה, הייתה גם מלאה ברסיסים, אבל שום רסיס לא פגע במקום ש...
ואז מה, כל המחבלים נהרגו שם פשוט?
כולם נהרגו, כל הבני
They were all killed, all the hostages and all the terrorists.
בית של מלא גופות.
והדס איכשהו
מכל ההרג הזה, כאילו אלוהים רצה שהיא תהיה איתנו, הציל אותה. היא יוצאת מכל התופת הזאת. כשאני ראיתי אותה, היא הייתה, תבינו, שפגשתי אותה בבוקר, היא הייתה לבושה יפה, שיער מסורק.
This isn't rambling testimony either, this seems very coherent. Yeah, no, this is like after, this is days after the fact at this point. This is the second interview, I think. I have not heard this one.
אתה יודע, בן אדם נורמלי. כשהיא יצאה משם, כל השיער שלה עמד. מלא אבק עם קלקרים בתוכו.
אז את מבינה בעצם למה לגבי ליאל...
Yeah, this is from 11:15, the interview. So about like a month later, a month and some change later, from 10/7. She's talking about 10/7. Yasmin Porat escaped the concert, went to this kibbutz to hide. Her husband also was in the kibbutz. Her husband, I thought, was killed originally by one of the Hamas militants, like shot dead in one of the rooms. But now she's saying she talked to this lady who survived, who was underneath her husband and her own, like Yasmin Porat's husband and her own husband, and she survived and told her what the situation looked like. I guess this also answers the question, what if the hostages were being held in Israel? Dude, I've been telling you this from day one. That's why whenever people go, oh, well, what if the hostages were underneath Israeli buildings? Like, yeah, I think they would still blow it up, dog. I'm telling you. Açtım kapıyı, geldi. Murat'ın yemeği geldi. Murat!
תביעה שהיא נהרגה אלא רק אתמול?
הבנתי, לא מצאו עד היום שרידים שלה. תראה, אני חושבת שחלק מהחומרי נפץ שם, הם זריקו רימונים, ולא מבינה כל כך בתחמושת. הם זריקו שם דברים שהם מעבר לכדורים של רובה. אני יודעת שהם מתלקחים, ואני רואה גם היום הצילומים שהבית נשרף בחלקו. נגיד, הבית של הדיוויד והדס לא קיים יותר, לא יודעת איך זה קרה. אז אי אפשר לתאר בכלל איך הבתים האלה נראים. טוב, רואים את זה קצת... אני מעריכה, אם תשאלו אותי, לפי מה שאני מבינה שקרה בבתים אחרים, היא כנראה נשרפה כליל. לברוח משם היא לא ברחה, לא חטפו אותה. אני אומרת לך, לא יצאו משם. אין, זה כבר לא השלב שמישהו יצא משם. לא. מדברים כבר על 8:30 בערב, חושך מוקלט. הבית שרוף, מלא כבר בשלב הזה כבר היה הרבה צבא, היה שם ימם ומטכ"ל, ושכיתרו את הבית. אז זה אומר שליאל לא יכלה לצאת משם. והדס זוכרת, שהייתה כל 4 שעות הלחימה, היא זוכרת אותה לא מפסיקה לצרוח, את הילדה. ופתאום היא מפסיקה.
אוקיי. יסמין פורת. יסמין, תודה רבה על
תודה לכם.
שיתפת אותנו בסיפור הבאמת מטורף הזה.
כן, תודה לכם.
I'm in the chat, move this slow. We're hyperfixed on these words. Yeah, I mean, look, I still don't know. I mean, there needs to be more investigations conducted into this matter. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and like piece them together like the lady talking about how like, oh, these are girls who had never actually driven a tank before. You know what I mean? Especially considering that still, by and large, a big chunk of the 800 civilians didn't simply die in the hands of like Israeli helicopter gunfire or Israeli tank fire. It, however, does show that a lot of the burning bodies that they talked about from secondhand testimony is most likely wasn't because like they fucking threw them in ovens or whatever, which was immediately discredited by even Israeli journalists when the guy who came out with that statement said that he heard it from another first responder, that like they were tossing little babies in ovens and stuff like that. German media just said the Hamas didn't do the hostage trade as it should have. Is that true? Never. The German media, whenever they say something, know that it's the exact opposite. What the German media and the Israeli media do is basically take something that is like the truth and then literally flip it. Where you see the coverage on the oven story by Israeli media, I talked about it before. There was two different people that were discrediting the first guy that talked about it, which was like not even firsthand accounts, and we're saying that there's no evidence for this. Why lie about it? I forget who the guy was, but there was an Israeli dude that was talking about how there's no reason to lie. There's like enough atrocities to begin with. They thought 200 burned bodies were Israelis and didn't determine until later that they were Hamas militants. That's why they dropped the death toll from 1,400 to 1,200. Yes. I think we will. I think later down the line, and not today, not tomorrow, not in a couple months, but maybe like a year later, you will find out more about what actually happened on October 7th. I do know that, what do you call it? I mean, look, here's one thing I will say. The Hamas militants threw grenades into houses, 100%. Those grenades set off secondary explosions and most likely burned people alive and destroyed houses. The idea that you think that like, oh, it was Israeli tanks that definitely killed all of the people, and that's all the civilians were actually killed by Israeli tanks, and all the civilians were actually killed by Israeli helicopters is bullshit. That's not the case. They absolutely, without a doubt, secondary explosions like shit that's like fuel. Like you throw a grenade into a house and the house catches on fire because there's like a fuel tank or some shit in it, then yeah, you've blown up that entire house and lit it on fire with Israeli civilians inside hiding, you know? So the idea that like it's not the idea that like, oh, all of these deaths are attributed to the IDF is ridiculous. I don't even think it's 50-50, as a matter of fact. I don't know. I don't know what the percentages are. I'm simply stating that there will inevitably be a time when we find out and figure out what the actual assessment of the situation is, get a better understanding of it. I don't think that time is now. But having said that, I do see a lot of people rush to the IDF helicopter stuff and the tank stuff and immediately run to this take that like, oh, these guys weren't trying to kill civilians at all. Or they weren't actually fucking killing. The Hamas guys weren't killing anyone at all. Like, that's not true. It's just not. They did. They were shooting indiscriminately over and over again, everywhere around, all around the kibbutzim that they were in, all around the streets. Like, it's ridiculous. You know, the idea that like they weren't shooting at civilians is wrong. I've seen it. So why do you believe B'Tselem on other stuff and not the helicopter story? No, I do believe that the helicopters fucking opened fire on cars, some of which actually had Israeli people in them. I'm personally saying that does not factor all of the civilian casualties, and a lot of people use that as cope, okay? And no, it's not Israeli grenades. I said Hamas militants were also throwing grenades in houses and shit. Bro, come on, I've seen it. The overarching goal for the military operation amongst the Palestinian militia forces was to grab as many fucking hostages as possible and then bring them back in to Gaza. That was the goal. They definitely did kill a shit ton of civilians, though. Okay? Partially, and I said this before, that was Arma footage. Man, suck my dick. You guys are such disingenuous fucking dickheads. Like, hey, the Arma guys that come in here and go, that was Arma footage. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm literally talking about misinformation against people that say all of these deaths are actually the IDF. Shut the fuck up. Half the time when dumb motherfuckers chirp in here, they literally are not listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth. You're saying that Israel didn't kill 0% of the civilians, but it also didn't kill 100% of them. Yes, I'm still under the assumption, judging by all the footage that I've seen so far, that the majority of the civilians that were killed are most likely killed by Hamas and other Palestinian militants. Okay? That's what I'm assuming. And I do think that a lot of people are rushing to defend Hamas as like the most moral military, ironically. You know? I think it's just like it's silly to hyper focus on this stuff because Like, the Israeli military is the best at murdering civilians, okay? Like, we know this already. You know what I mean? We know this. Whether it's their own civilians sometimes, but or certainly Palestinians, like, they're the best at that, okay? They're so fucking good at it. And as far as we've seen thus far, even if every single of the 860 civilians that were slaughtered on October 7th were directly slaughtered by Hamas militants, with the overall total death toll being 1,200, because the rest of them are security forces and the IDF, right? That ratio is still better than the Israeli ratio. Do you understand? Like, in this circumstance, even if every single civilian was murdered ruthlessly by Hamas militants, if you compare it to the actions that Israel has taken thus far, you know, if you're Mr. Harm Reduction, if you're going to vote for either party and you care about harm reduction, yeah, then fucking Hamas literally greatly has done less harm and more enemy combatants to civilians killed, more enemy combatants to civilians per capita by a wide margin. Okay?
بس امي وابوي جوا عارفين انه احنا رحنا على بيت ثاني بس هي مساله تنقيص
نجوان
سلامتك انت على الهواء ترتاحي تقعدي تقدري بس تحكي لنا كلمتين بدنا نتابعك اولا لا تليفوني السلامه انا عمتي علمت عليهم وجابت اجل احكي لنا احكي ايش بدك تقولي والله جدا اخجل او نخجل على الكاميرا هون
It's also weird to say that that makes you more radical than Hamas leaders who've claimed that they did kill civilians, but they believe it's justified. No, they don't. That's why it's funny when, like, leftists on Twitter or whatever or whoever will take a position that is more that's like more aggro than like Hamas militants who have said the civilian casualties that occurred on October 7th was an unforeseeable and unfortunate consequence. She's saying, I'm ashamed of being happy, referring to the genocide in Gaza. If Israeli civilians are carrying out the wishes of their Zionist government by settling on Palestinian land, aren't they justified military targets? Do you consider Israeli settlers civilians? If you're talking about the West Bank, they're technically not. If you're talking about Israel proper, then yes, they are on settled land at that point. Okay? And also, on top of that, it doesn't matter. Even if they're not fucking real, technically civilians, but instead enemy combatants, you have to understand, you can't just fucking shoot, like, babies, for example. Okay? I have not seen any evidence of Hamas killing any civilians, though. Okay, this person is baiting me into saying some fucking unhinged shit, I think. Because there is a shit ton of evidence of Hamas killing civilians. What the fuck are you talking about, dumbass? Shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you saying? That's 100% a dude being like, wow, surely I'll get him by saying this unhinged shit, and then he'll respond to me in agreement because he agrees with me, okay? Because I've been led to believe that he agrees with me, and then I'll clip it, and then I'll post it everywhere. Yes, there is a fucking metric ton of evidence of Palestinian militants or even fucking random people, like random Palestinians, whoever the fuck had a gun at that point, going into Israel and like shooting up the place. That's ridiculous. There is plenty of footage from both Israelis that are like filming it from their apartment buildings or directly from GoPro footage that they filmed themselves. The idea that that they didn't shoot at like civilians indiscriminately is wrong. They did.
لو سمحتوا خلوها تفضل الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات بس امي وابوي جوا عارفين انه احنا رحنا على بيت ثاني بس هي مساله
Hamas lost control of the operation when the Israeli Gaza command collapsed. Yeah, I think it was more so I think it unironically again is exactly what they said. I think it was Abu Ubaidah who said it like day one, where it was like, we did not think that it was going to be this successful and we could not control what happened after. Like, their understanding is they send in fucking 2,000 people and they get like a couple hostages. They attack the center command where they have like a lot of intel, and they thought maybe they could take it. Like, they didn't think they could take it over, but they thought like they could kill a bunch of IDF that were there. Element of surprise. Take a bunch of hostages, come back and do a hostage negotiation. Obviously, they knew that Israel would retaliate in the way that they were going to retaliate, but they thought maybe at maximum they could take control of or kill a bunch of people at the outpost near Gaza, They took control over fucking the outpost. They took control over kibbutz. They took control over other police, they took control over other areas that the IDF was supposed to be operating out of. 3 of the fucking IDF brigades that were supposed to be operating in that region had been moved into the West Bank. It's insane. It's insane. Like a complete security failure. That is actually, unironically, one of the worst aspects of this from the Israeli point of view is that, like, it was a black eye, but then also on top of that, it just completely destroyed all semblance of, like, Israel's security. No, it was not an inside job, man. You do not have to attribute some other, like, in a calamity like this, you do not have to attribute, like, some secret conspiracy when incompetence born out of the arrogance and racist attitudes, the supremacist attitudes that every fucking Zionist leader had. That's it. Like, it can be explained much easily by how arrogant the Israeli government has been, rather than like, oh, this was an inside job where they wanted to do this to use it as a justification to fucking take over Gaza. As this keeps coming up, this is the legal wording of civilians and settlers read under attacks on civilians as a violation of basic principles of international humanitarian law. Amnesty International report calls on Palestinian armed groups to stop civilian killings. Yes. Neither the ICRC nor the authors can be identified with the opinions expressed in the cases and documents. Press release. Since the beginning of the Al-Aqsa Intifada in September 2000, at least 350 civilians, most of them Israeli, have been killed in over 128 attacks by Palestinian armed groups and Palestinian individuals. There's nothing that, especially if you are not a state, if you're not an established state actor that is like aligned with the Western world, there's nothing that will shut you down internationally than fucking killing civilians. And I mean, it's a case by case basis, but in most circumstances, if you fucking kill civilians, it's gonna make your cause much harder. What does this read down under the title I highlighted? I don't see the title you highlighted. Where is it? Attacks on civilians is a violation of basic principles of international humanitarian law. Palestinian armed groups and their supporters have suggested the prohibition on attacking civilians does not apply to settlers in the occupied territories because the settlements are illegal under international humanitarian law, because settlements may have military functions and many settlers are armed. Many settlements do indeed have military functions. Settlements account for 1/3 of the total area of the Gaza Strip. Each of these settlements hold military bases and are heavily militarily defended. Although the militarization of settlements is strongest in Gaza, some of the settlements of the West Bank also have military functions. The IDF may use them as staging posts for their operations to detain people in custody. However, settlers are such are civilians unless they are serving in the Israeli armed forces. What? Haven't Israeli leftist news and ex-diplomats pointed out the massing of soldiers in West Bank by Bibi, which led to the inability to respond quickly for October 7th? Yes. I think we're fixated because the IDF killed 1/3, maybe half the civilians. It would be a bombshell. I bet it's closer to like 116 or 120 of the civilians, but is that still very important detail when analyzing the direct response of Israeli propaganda? Yes. Can you remove the weather tab on your taskbar, please? No. Why would I do that? I like having the weather tab on my taskbar. This has been a funny take, too. Thanksgiving ceasefire was planned for the American soldiers and aircraft carriers to have the holiday off. This is our proxy war. Come on, guys. Yeah, dude. Yeah, they did it for Black Friday sales, dude. I saw that, too. People were saying, like, wow, it's really suspicious that they did this ceasefire in the midst of, like, massive boycott campaigns going on in order to ensure that, you know, just in time for Black Friday. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's the case, man. I think that's a bit crazy. Yeah, I want to have Barnaby Rain, yes. I think hubris is their downfall, Maggie Pie. You're right. It's hubris, it's arrogance, it's racism. It's racism to think that, like, that these guys, like the Palestinians, are just, like, lesser and that you could just continuously oppress them without them fucking rising up, you know? I think that's racism. It's, like, sheer arrogance, it's sheer racism to think that, like, the occupation will not be costly. Of course it's going to be costly. You're fucking out of your mind, dude. Is it, though? You don't know how far they go to screw you over? I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, is that not suspicious? No, it was the same deal, but just happened to unfold on a U.S. holiday. Genuine question. What? No, I think that, guys, I said this before. I don't think America gives that much of a shit overall about what Israel does. As far as Joe Biden has talked about it, he literally personally is just like, he personally is saying, no, this is being America-centric. He personally said he doesn't give a shit, okay? I think the real reason why this came was because of the insane amount of pressure being mounted against the Netanyahu administration by the hostage families. If you look to Hebrew articles from the Israeli government, from the Israeli side, sorry, that cover the Israeli government and their actions, many of them have written about how this moment came because the hostage families had actually done a press conference. They actually went in front of the Knesset, and it was getting to a point where the pressure was mounting against the Netanyahu government and against the relentless bombing campaign. I think that the Israeli government and their interests were, satiating the bloodthirst, obviously, to make up for the black eye that they got from Hamas, but also ultimately, it is to engage in most likely a permanent occupation of the northern part of Gaza, maybe even the southern part of Gaza, like annexation and permanent occupation, but they don't really have the bandwidth to be able to do that regardless. So they did this because there was too much pressure mounting from the hostage families in Israel saying, like, what the fuck are you doing? Bring back the hostages. Bring back the hostages. One of the things that Islamic Jihad did, as we saw, was they brought forward a 72-year-old hostage, said that they wanted to release her for humanitarian purpose, literally then claimed falsely that she had died due to her illnesses. And I think that probably also played an additional role from the families going, what the fuck? Like, you're letting the hostages die because you want to keep bombing Gaza. At a certain point, people are going to be fatigued by no matter how bloodthirsty they are, every day that goes by, every time there's another new 100 fucking children being killed, you're losing hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people, even on the Israeli side, that are like, they might not care about the Palestinian lives, but they certainly do have, one, fatigue from all the death and destruction, and two, they feel like, every day that goes by, every bomb that drops on top of Gaza is another hostage that you might have killed. Anyway, is terrorism prohibited? Discussions, who can be held responsible? Do such groups have, what is this? Are Israeli settlements occupied territories military objectives? Is an armed civilian a combatant? Is an armed civilian a legitimate target? In what circumstances are settlers always civilians unless they serve in the Israeli armed forces? What's going to happen after all the hostages return? I mean, what's going to happen after the hostages return is they're going to fucking continue bombing, at least if you listen to what Israel has to say. Israel literally fucking keeps saying, we're going to keep bombing extra hard. We're going to bomb for all the times that we didn't bomb. You know what I mean? Throwing stones. This 5-year-old Mohammed Rabi Alian was summoned by the Israeli occupation for interrogation on charges of throwing stones. A video taken in 2019 shows the child on his way to the police station in Jerusalem, accompanying his father carrying a bag of sweets. On the last paragraph before the discussion bit. Israeli settlements in the occupied territories are unlawful under the provisions of international humanitarian law. The Fourth Geneva Convention prohibits the transfer of civilians from the occupying powers territory into the occupied territory. However, the unlawful status of Israeli settlements does not affect the civilian status of settlers. Settlers, like any other civilians, cannot be targeted and only lose their protection from attack if and for such time as they take a direct part in the hostilities. Similarly, Palestinian residents of the West Bank and Gaza are civilians benefiting from the protection of the Fourth Geneva Convention unless and for such a time as they take part in direct hostilities. I mean, I guess this technically means, like, a lot of the spontaneous militias in the fucking Palestinian territories are simply not an enemy combatant in any moment other than the fact that they have spontaneously turned up to be an armed militia to purge an occupying force from their territory. Not that that is how it's regarded by Israel, obviously, but anyway. Also, you can spontaneously avoid the top of the hour ad break that's coming right now that I forgot to run at 4. Here it is now.
Statistics and our research shows they're routinely abused in detention. They're interrogated.
This guy that you guys just banned is so funny. He said, if you are so concerned for Palestinians, maybe you should climb the biggest building in Gaza and start swatting. If you are so concerned for Palestinians, maybe you should climb the biggest building in Gaza and start swatting planes like the big dumb anti-Semitic ape that you are. Hashtag Free Palestine from Hamas. Thank you. That's actually kind of clever. That is the most clever a fucking ultra-Zionist has been in this chat. As far as, like, it doesn't have that much racism in it. Like, it's like the least racist, I think. And also, yeah, I like that. Hamas is very on King Kong, huh? You are dumb ape. You love terror. How about you do terror yourself?
interrogated without their parents present. Many accept pleas, even for charges that, on paper are extreme, to avoid longer sentences and mistreatment. So we have a really serious issue of systematic mistreatment, arbitrary arrest, and this has been going on for decades. So much of the Palestinian population has gone through this system, and so it's important to deal with, not as bargaining chips, but there's a need for real pressure to end these human rights abuses, which are part of Israel's apartheid against Palestinians.
Your biggest takeaway from today's initial hostage release?
Look, this is a ray of lightness among weeks of darkness. I mean, you have a situation, of course, where hostages, as you discussed on your program, have been held for weeks away from their family. You have Yafa Adar, whose daughter we interviewed, who is in need of medication, uses a walker. People that really needed to be out in custody. In Gaza, you have an entire civilian population that for more than 6 weeks have been struggling to survive. Whether they survived or not was more a product of luck than anything else. You have a reality where many have been without food, medicine, water for days, and have been really struggling to have the basic necessities of life. So for many of them, it's a chance to check on their homes, on their loved ones. You have Palestinian prisoners who have been, in many cases, in detention, for years. Women, children who have the chance to be reunited with their family. It's a glimmer of hope, but much more is needed to address the really serious concerns for civilians that we continue to have in Israel-Palestine.
As you know, Omar, this truce has the...
Dude, the thing that I love about Wolf is that despite the fact that he used to literally work for AIPAC, because he's such a fucking shill in general, and overall not a great intellectually curious or a person with a moral compass, overall a host that has any of those qualities, he'll just let you say whatever. You could literally have fucking Abu Ubaidah go on there and just be like, we are dismantling the Zionist entity, and Wolf Blitzer will just sit there and go, okay, and many people are saying that Israel has a right to defend itself. What do you have to say to that, Abu Ubaidah? He's like a robot. Nothing that you're saying to him matters. He's just there to fucking go, very good, next question. Very good, next question. Which is why it's very odd, but I guess you can get lucky and have someone who does know what the fuck they're talking about. And if they score an interview with Wolf, if you score an interview with them, you're just going to run the show.
The potential to be extended if Hamas releases more hostages. What are you hearing about how likely that is?
Look, I think it's difficult to predict. These are very fragile agreements. We've seen in previous hostilities that, even small misunderstandings can sometimes lead to them not going through with it. I think this deal, though, has been offered. It has been on the table, I think, for some time, the parameters of which were, a pause in fighting, release of some Palestinian prisoners, release of hostages. It took a while for the Israeli government to agree to that arrangement. But I think once these things are started, it can develop a momentum. But let's be clear that, human beings are not bargaining chips, whether they be hostages that are being held by Hamas authorities, whether it be Palestinians whose basic need for aid and chance to survive and homes being not demolished are contingent on other actions. We need to address these core issues today, ceasefire or not.
Oh my God, you're right. He is like Joe Rogan. He literally is just like Joe Rogan. He just sits there and is on the side of whoever the fuck he's interviewing, and it doesn't really matter. Oh my God.
Lawful attack should stop.
He's the archetype, dude. Oh my God, people look at Joe Rogan and think he's some brilliant interviewer when he's literally just doing the Wolf Blitzer technique. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hostages should be released. Aid should be allowed in. Unlawfully detained Palestinians should be released. But the reality here is that we have this current arrangement, and the best hope we can have is that there continues to be progress made on these issues.
No, fun day's today. Shut the fuck up, chatters. We're doing fun day. I'm done. Oh, see, I found it. Here are all the fun day stuff that we have ready to go. First, Twista raps overnight celebrity while someone shoots a gun to match the song's beat. This would have not it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. In Joe Brandon's America, a bullet is literally $1 million. I can't believe he's just wasting so much money. He's a competition shooter and an instructor now. I just wanted to say that's what America is about. And anyone who hates on that is fucking wrong. And what is this? When someone doesn't have an opinion on Israel versus Palestine, this is what you wanted me to look at. This is what you wanted me to watch.
It was sponsored by merch. Go buy some.
I don't know. This is too long. This is long too. Here. Did you guys see this? This is a $59 million motherfucking... This is a $59 million wedding. Who do you think? Whose wedding do you think this was? Is the question that comes to mind. How long do you think it's going to last? Bitch, if I'm getting married to someone who's worth at least one $59 million wedding, I'm holding on for dear life. Okay? I'm putting babies in her. I'm holding on for dear life. And then, hey, listen, I'm making sure there's no motherfucking prenup. All right? No prenup. You make that shit work, dude. You make that shit work. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. Anyway, so what do you think she does? Like, the bride. What do you think? Because, like, is the bride's family that's, like, super wealthy, right? What do you... Guys, stop leaking it in the chat. I know what it is. Yeah, you think... When you look at a situation like this, you're like, oh, she must be, like, a king or something, right? Like, they got fucking Maroon 5 to sing at the wedding. Like, who could have $59 million to dump on one goddamn wedding? I heard she had Pokemon cookies at the reception. No shot. No shot. You think, oh, this is like a hedge fund manager, right? Like, only hedge fund managers have this kind of money. Like, we're talking like billions, right? Who is it? Well, what people are telling me is that she is the daughter of a car dealership owner, multiple car dealerships. Dinner at Dior, rented out the Opera House, rented out Amangiri for the 3-day bachelorette party, rented out Versailles, chartered private jets for all the guests, and I'm still missing out. Oh my God, chartered private jets for all the fucking guests? First of all, I didn't know Florida had it like that. Let me tell you something. I didn't know fucking Florida had it like that. Can I just repeat myself? Private jets from Florida? Austin Ivy, so was my friend in high school. It was front for her dad being a local Greek mafia. That's crazy, bro. They're so basic. Wait, they're so fucking basic looking. Madeline Brockway, a 26-year-old car dealership heiress from South Florida, has been turning heads over the past few days with the documentation from her luxurious and resplendent 5-day Parisian wedding with groom Jacob Legrone. Bro, no man who's ever worn a Dallas Cowboys hoodie deserves to go into the fucking Versailles, let alone get married there. This motherfucker's got a Dallas Cowboys hoodie, dog, in rotation. He wears it on photos. Are you joking? No. The Dallas Cowboys hoodie on rotation is like literally fucking, is the equivalent, is the hoodie equivalent to what we were talking about the other day. What was it? Sweet potato with marshmallows? That's the hoodie equivalent of marshmallow sweet potato casserole. Are you fucking joking? Get the fuck out of here. He's got an ugly Christmas sweater on and shit. There is no better example of American dominance, America's global hegemonic power, okay, than having the fucking testament to the French monarchy be desecrated in, you know, and I do respect desecrating symbols of the French monarchy by motherfucking used car dealership owner heiresses and a dude wearing a fucking Cowboys hoodie, man. This is the most disrespectful thing that you could have done to the French across the board, man. Motherfuckers that live in Coral Gables, okay? Motherfuckers that live in Coral Gables flying. HVAC business owners that normally frequent Mar-a-Lago flying into France in private jets so they can fucking eat fried chicken and sweet potato with marshmallows at the fucking Versailles Palace. Get the fuck out of here. It's like the Beverly Hillbillies shit. Ridley Scott could make 100 Napoleon movies, okay? Bonaparte, what the fuck is that? There is nothing. Dude, the French love to smell their own farts and act like they're this super elitist, you know, they're this brilliant culture with so much heritage, you know what I mean? So much cultural heritage. And then you got motherfucking HVAC business owners who still use Brute as perfume, okay? Coming in and just shitting all over, doo-dooing all over your fucking Versailles Palace like they own the goddamn place. It's done. It's a wrap. You got nothing. That's awesome. Makes my dick hard a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, K-Lele. Names like K-Lele. The fuck is happening? A pair tied the knot on November 18 in videos from their grand landmark nuptials, which were reportedly $59 million, went viral all over TikTok and other social media platforms, making everyone's jaw drop with the unusual splurge. Class concussion or whatever. While it is unknown who sponsored the over-the-top wedding, netizens are speculating that Madeline's parents are most likely the ones who pay for most of the arrangement. Bob Brockway is the chief executive officer and chairman of Usuri Automotive Group. Wait, what? Usuri? That's a weird name. While her mother, Paula Brockway, is the vice president of the Coral Gables branch of Mercedes-Benz in Florida. Oh my God. Even their story is perfect. The mom and dad. Usuri Automotive made headlines in August of the year selling two of his locations for a profit of $150 to $700 million. Madeleine Brockway, who was originally from Miami, Florida, later moved to Texas and reportedly started dating Jacob Lagrone, originally from Nashville in March 2020. And I guess her dad is a music executive. As per Jacob's LinkedIn, he worked for Country Music Association as a talent coordinator in 2013, 2014. He also served as a production assistant for country singer Jason Aldean in 2018. However, his current occupation is unknown. Motherfuckers don't even have an occupation. That's a classic. Bro, Nashville kid, definitely fucking music executive parents. It's two dealerships. One of them, the mom is the president of. They also own a body shop. Two dealerships and a fucking body shop. That's how much they're raking. Bro, what is happening? What the fuck is happening? What is happening in the world? How? How is this a thing? I don't get that, dude. I don't understand. Dude, two car dealership owners really fucking raking that much? Like, what the fuck? Dude, I'm about to drop everything, dude. I'm about to drop everything and dump it into a car dealership. Fuck this socialism lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Fuck this shit. What good has socialism brought me? Okay? Nothing. All I get is fucking hate. Endless amounts of hate. Meanwhile, motherfucking car dealership owners are out here literally living La Vida Loca, buying France. How are they making so much money, dude? Car dealership owners are not even petite bourgeois anymore. No, there is no petite at that point. They're fucking gross bourgeois, okay? Not petite. They're the most bourgeois of the bourgeois. They saved up eating cup noodles for years. Why are you hating? Also, yeah, this doesn't make sense either. There's no way you spend $60 million on a wedding if you're worth $850 million. The math is not mathing. I mean, that part too, for sure. Is a Mercedes dealership in Miami, the amount of money laundered there must be insane. I mean, they don't, like, I've talked about this before. Everything in the 90s in Miami was run on the cocaine economy, okay? So if you had a business, it was a front for cocaine, for drug trafficking, right? Like, that part is objectively true. I'm not even joking. Like, look up Cocaine Cowboys. Literally everything in Miami was built on cocaine money, okay? Like 100%, just built on cocaine. However, having said that, I don't really understand how you can still make this work to this day. They own and run multiple car dealerships. No, they own two car dealerships. How? People didn't stop doing cocaine. True, but getting in through Miami was greatly limited after a while, and it's not the same as like the 90s. Where you could just like basically fucking fly it in or boat it in, easy peasy. So I don't really understand this. Like Maroon 5 did a special performance. These are just two of the 119 things on their wedding registry. William Yoward Crystal, $12,500. Wait, what? But like, what is this? Why? What the fuck? Who's like, oh, dude, this is perfect. I'm going to buy this for you. Like, I have attended weddings, and I have failed to attend weddings, and out of shame, I've like bought stuff on the registry, right? Like I bought like a Dyson vacuum. I think like the most I've ever spent for not going to a wedding that I was supposed to attend was like around $2,000, okay? Which is a lot of fucking money, obviously. $12,500 is crazy, dude. I had the last second bail on the wedding. That's why $2,000. It's like fucked up. It was fucked up. What the fuck's going on here, though? If you don't stop, I'm going to become a Maoist third world at this point. I just don't understand. First of all, I don't know what this is. What is a butterfly house? Was that the wedding you missed for Kaya? Yes. God damn, parasocialists are fucking out of control. They know too much. Holy shit, dude. What the fuck is a crystal butterfly? Why, who needs a butterfly house? And also, why does it have to be crystal? Decorations? For what? Bro, you live in South Florida. What decorations do you need? You live in South Florida. Your neighbor, no matter what, is going to have the most cookie cutter ass home and is an HVAC business owner or a fucking another car dealership owner. Like, what? How does this make you feel?
很奇怪，没有人应该，甚至不是撸的维系。他说撸的维系对你没有吸引力。哦，我的天哪，撸的维系是有吸引力的。我实际上觉得他变得更有吸引力了。他非常喜欢。他是一个运动员。他展示了他的宠物在推特上。我不知道他是否故意这么做。他有个胡子。他有胡子。他正在修他的裤子。他穿着背心。你的男朋友是同性恋。糟糕。我就是要说，有人拿着他们的绳子。来讨论一下
What is happening, dude? This is the worst. March, you did the worst fucking dubbing, dude. There's way better ones. There's way better dubs that you could have done than that one.
21,000 me gusta. Los 3 streamers más exitosos esperan. ¿Qué es con lo que está trabajando Wake? Sí, de acuerdo. Espera, ¿qué diablos? Oye, haz clic en esa mierda. ¿Qué diablos?
Siento que cerraré mis ojos.
Espera, vale. Entonces... Su pene hace que mi cosa parezca como si no fuera nada.
Él tiene una maleta. De acuerdo.
Espera, de ninguna manera.
Esto es lo que me mata.
De ninguna manera. No, eso es demasiado. Eso es demasiado atrevido.
Adiós.
Su pene. What the fuck? Su pene. Ew, this one isn't bad. That's creepy. Su pene.
Oh,
go. I love the fucking Mandarin like.
我就是要说，有人拿着他们的绳子。
What is that noise?
好的，我们来讨论一下。路德维希是同性恋吗？你会？
路德维希是同性？Wait, what?
你会因为我会？我们来讨论一下。路德维希是同性恋吗？你会
？Dude, oh my god!
因为我胡思乱想而生气吗？不。好的。
那他就是同性。
好的，让我们听听你为什么这么
我只是觉得他正在慢慢变成同性恋的。我知道，我现在的。
同性 means same sex. He's saying gay. Sometimes AI voice channels the demons in hell and they sound like that. Tong Xing Liang means gay. Dude, that's sick. I love that. I just, it's my dream to be able to speak Mandarin without an accent. Okay. This one is a $690 collections of Queen Victoria green border platter. One platter. I feel like you can't just buy one platter. You need to buy multiple, right? Like one platter, and then the rest of it is Target. The fuck are you gonna do with that? You get one grandma platter, and then the rest of it is like those Target plates. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna place that in the middle? That shit looks ugly as hell. Okay, I want every piece of detail from this fucking wedding. Okay, I want everything. I want to know everything about this wedding. I am so obsessed with it. It's awesome. Because like for me, the juxtaposition of this being like a car dealership heiress with it being like in Versailles is so awesome. It's got everything. It's like disrespecting the French. Okay, the groom is a leftist. Wait, really? Get your money up, kid. Get your money up, king. Get your fucking money up, king. Dude, hold on to that, okay? The husband got arrested for assault on a public servant. Wait, what? You found the full registry? God damn, you're crazy. Wait, fuck, I can't. Oh my God, you found the registry. Oh my God. Oh my God. Gifting completed on this. Oh, fuck, I was going to buy the Heron figurine and someone else bought it for me. Oh, good luck. Well, I guess I could buy the Heron figurine, Lions, Tigers, and Tiger Clubs, black, rust, and brown. Or black, red, and brown. I don't know. For a cool $735. Michael Feinberg, antique silver 4-piece tea and coffee service. Oh, guys, don't worry. You have a Heron Reserve collection box. Why are there so many Heron Reserve? This shit looks... Am I crazy or is this ugly as fuck? This is like the most nouveau riche shit you could have. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is what the rich people are on. I don't know. P.S. The letter exclusives. Mary Rose, Young and Gold, and White Rose vase. Bro, they don't have anything that... This is the only thing they have $100. This is it. I was going to say there's like nothing that's normal price. One fucking teacup? One teacup for $155? What are you going to do with one teacup? What are you doing with one teacup? What the hell? Oh, you found her TikTok? Madeleine Brockway. Find yourself wedding vendors who make the in-between moments just as fun. First of all, of course they're having fun, man. You probably gave them $1 million to fucking plan this insane wedding. And they just made a name for themselves as like the most expensive wedding makers of all time. I'd be fucking laughing it up. I'd be yucking it up extra hard. Oh, I was stalking. Now I'm too early, Lamau. Dude, she could be saying anything. I'd be laughing. Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? Everything she says is funny. Everything. $59 million for a wedding. Anything and everything she says is fucking hilarious. Okay, bro. That's the type of wealth that's just like, I am making socialism a poverty cult. This shit is ridiculous. Nah, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. At that point, you're like, oh, you are the funniest, coolest. Hey, can you spot me like $7,000? Oh, dude. She's the funniest to me, I think, at that point.
Are you happy to be in Paris?
We.
Maddie's dress, I think, is going to have sleeves. Corset, maybe?
Dude, I love the Kaylee Lee ass fucking bridesmaids too. All right? Like, think about it. These are all like Alabama sorority girls that fucking are in Paris being like, yeah, that's going to be great. I love her dress. I never thought this is what would happen when we were fucking slamming tequila shots at the fraternity parties together. Bray Lely, McKay Lee. God damn, dude. Everyone is up. The whole team is up at that point. Okay? Lenin warned of people like you. Yeah, but whatever, bro. Lenin would have... If Lenin saw what was going on here, he'd be like, yeah, fuck this socialism shit. This socialism shit is over. I said Lenin.
What have we got today? Today I am wearing a full Libertine set. Dior sunglasses, Dior earrings, necklace, and ring. Of course.
If Lenin could have married one of the Romanovs, he would. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Lenin just didn't have swag like that. Someone should remake that painting of the Bolshevik soldier looking at the Tsar's luxury castle, except this is his wedding. No, that's only done for my fucking $2.7 million mega mansion, okay? Like, leftists have no concept of, like, this level of wealth. This level of wealth is, like, completely outside of their orbit of understanding, okay? They only can yell at, like, whoever the fuck is within their vicinity, within yelling distance, within striking distance, you know? To them, I'm wealthier than these people. To most of my haters, I'm, like, 10 times wealthier than these people, okay? I run the top of the hour ad break, and after one ad break, I make enough money to buy 10 of these fucking weddings, okay? At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and I run it. Your outfit costs more than my entire living expenses for one full year. You must be deserving. or God wouldn't have blessed you. All you're beautiful and stunning. Goddamn. We're fucking peasants, dog. We're literally peasants. We are peasants. We are all peasants. Oh my God, this is peasant mindset. This is peasant mindset. This is straight up peasant mindset. After all, the Lord has blessed the king with its divine grace. Oh, that's awesome. That's sick. He did a Marie Antoinette photo shoot. The hair and porcelain was a purveyor of the Habsburg dynasty and the aristocracy, but this was not long lasting. The old guard rich used Flora Danica and Wedgwood. Why do you know that? Some of you are fucking suspicious, dude. Foot fetishes are big because we lick the boots so well. Shit, I'll be your peasant for a grab bag from this wedding. What do you think they were gifting? Like, they were just like, hey, my father owns 2 dealerships. They were gifting Mercedes Benzes in the gift bag. This was right when he said the average person today has the brain of an 11th century peasant. Yeah, 100%. They were gifting people. Divine right of rule for used car salesmen. That's what I'm talking about. Like, divine right of rule, but for a Southern Florida Mercedes-Benz dealership owner, okay? I love this. I fucking love this shit so much. So classic with a touch over the top. You are my new fave. Shut up, Fabian.
For the wedding, we're going to the Eiffel Tower on a boat tour into the Arc de Triomphe.
That's a paparazzi.
Good morning. This is JJ.
Yes,
I'm Maddie.
congratulations.
He might be a leftist, bro. Look at this fucking dripless ass. He basically described Nick Saban. The thing is, like, I don't know. When I do lavish shit, like, I have a sense of, like, embarrassment. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's something that I have to do for, like, work. Like, I'll tell you guys this much. There are a lot of opportunities that I pass up on deliberately where, you know, a fashion brand will come to me and will be like, we want to fly you to Milan, okay, for Fashion Week, or we want to fly you to this thing, we want to fly you to that thing, and you get to sit in the front row and, you know, put you in a nice hotel. And I say no to that shit. I don't really talk about it too much, but usually I say no to it because, like, it's embarrassing. Like, I feel like if I did that, one, my ass would get eaten alive, and two, I don't know. I like streaming, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to do stuff. I feel like I wouldn't be able to do the things that I want to do. And a little dicky looking ass groom. Yeah, Twitter would light you up, but I think admitting this is even more embarrassing. No, I personally, I think there's also like a sense of shame that I have for this level of this level of, like, experiences. It just seems very unearned. Does that make sense? Like, it just feels so unearned. Not nearly as embarrassing as saying you'd game and leaving us hanging top of the hour. I already ran the ad break. His Jordans do look crisp.
The tower was created in 1889.
Bienvenue, bonjour.
One more.
How does one earn a $60 million wedding exactly? I mean, right family, being born to the right family. You can see her Instagram turns from normal, rich Southern lady to insanity. There's something that's, like, off about this, dude. Like, something very off about this. Something that just doesn't, like they're dressing up. Bro, she went from, like, wearing Fashion Nova to, like, whatever the fuck this is. What is going on? Wait, what the fuck? Okay, now I feel weird just, like, looking at a random person's Instagram account. God. Anyway, wait. Go back to the Marie Antoinette looking ass photo. Yeah, I think she did that. She did a Marie Antoinette. Some Saudi princes spend that money 2x on a red in Monte Carlo. This is not as lavish as you think. Food for thought. Bro, what thought at that point? What thought? What food? Like, yeah, I know there's even for the unimaginable amount of wealth that you're experiencing, there's literally, like, a ton of it more out there. I don't know. I just, like, I do find it really funny that, like, the idea of for like an anarchist on Twitter, I am this person, like, I'm this wealthy. For all of my haters, like in their eyes, like this is my lifestyle.
Up in the sky, popping champagne, living my life in the fast lane. I won't change by the glamorous.
Unironically, a lot of these girls want to get the Sophia Richie treatment to go from Florida rich to Monaco rich. They look up to her. Look up to her for what though? Like this is all fucking ridiculous, you know? Awesome, bro, he's here. What? Okay, he does not look like Atatürk, okay? Give me a fucking break. Come on, bro. Atatürk was way more handsome than this guy. Get out of here. I think, yeah, a chatter spotted this, but like one of the funnier parts about this is that like the lack of class still jumps out because like the fucking PJ is decorated in like live, laugh, love aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like you got a PJ, but you still put like the most basic ass shit in there. Juicy couture looking ass. What the fuck? Probably why people seeing these experiences feel so sketch. There's no way to relate. Yeah, I don't understand this like at all. Speaking of insane weddings, check out this Indian weddings are actually insane, but this was on crack. This doesn't even look fun. I mean, shooting guns in the desert and like going to a fucking nice little compound seems fun. That's fun. Driving a Polaris, hating from outside the club. Oh god, they're dressed up as fucking. They're dressed up as like little Marie Antoinettes. Weren't you at the wedding? Yeah, it's me. It's my daughter. I paid for the wedding. That's why I was there. Yeah. This is my daughter.
4 days before our wedding. Come with me to Versailles. Let me look in here. Oh my god.
Maddie, look at me here.
Maddie, what do we think?
Unreal.
Where are we?
We're at Versailles.
Not Maddie and I hanging out.
Not Katie and I's room, baby. Maddie, I have goosebumps. This is incredible. Look at this view.
I'm gonna show up as Robus.
Cheers, Maddie. Look up. And look over the camera. Oh my god. 5 days before the wedding. Let's come to the Chanel Couture Suite.
This camera over here. Yes.
Okay, everybody looks fantastic. All this exciting stuff, and I love you very much.
Dude, I think there's something really fucking awesome about having the most Haley Brayley ass motherfuckers in like these incredibly prestigious institutions, okay? Because like going to the Chanel Haute Couture suite is like that's like supposed to be, you know, like world leaders, Arab sheiks, and some of the most like famous people on the planet, artists, you know what I mean? And then you got like a southern sorority just like rocking. We are truly in the age of the white girl. We are. I want to kill myself in front of them in such a horrible, grotesque way that it permanently scars them all. I want to kill myself in front of them in such a horrible way that it permanently alters the trajectory of their lives. Oh, that's an old meme. Don't take that seriously. That person is not going to do that, obviously. Chanel even that hot nowadays. Too many petit bourgeois and upper middle strivers wear it. Dude, for a leftist community, we always have people that say shit like this. And I'm just like, okay, fine. You know this wealth was built by African slaves? Brother, what are you talking about? No, that's precisely the point. This is not that, unless you're talking about like all American wealth technically, but no, this is quite literally the opposite. This is Florida car dealership money, which is crazy because they're in these hallowed halls that oftentimes have been frequented by people who were directly descendants of like slavery money. You know what I mean? That chatter isn't wrong though. The row is where all the rich people go. I don't even know what the row is. This is literally like HVAC money. This is fucking car dealership money. It's awesome. It's crazy. The wealth was built by crypto? No. Versailles fell off. It went from guests that own people to guests that own Kias. Yeah. The line from the Olsen twins, the row. What the fuck? I have no idea what this is. You don't know the row, broke boy? I don't know the row either. Yeah, I don't know any of this shit. Why don't you take some ownership for your community? I've never heard someone laugh about someone threatening suicide before. This guy is memeing, right? Please tell me this guy's memeing. Dude, that other chatter was joking. I hope you know that. Oh my God. Oh God. We're trying to have a fun day. I can't even. Oh my Lord. Yes, I'm memeing. Oh, thank God. Oh my God. For a second, I thought you were being serious. Like, holy shit, dude. I thought, oh my God. It's money laundering, mafia, drug money for sure. Dude, I don't know. This doesn't make sense. It actually unironically doesn't make sense that like night 4 of my dream bachelorette party. What the fuck? She got the bridesmaids to like, what? That's so weird. Bro, what? Dude, that's so odd, dude. Yo, that's weird, right? She got all the Brayleys. She's the leader of the Brayleys, dude. What the fuck? Yo, dude. Okay, this is kind of sick though. Like at this point, it does, it does get into like Lady Gaga territory, unironically. Where with enough money, I guess you can like literally remake a music video. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say the C word. Don't say it. I mean, this is like a very well done production. Imagine you're a French hiker and you come across this. Dude, stop being so weird. You're fan struck now. Jesus said I'm gonna dance, dance, dance with my hands, hands above my head, dance together, forgive him before he's dead, because I won't cry for you, I won't crucify the things you do, I won't cry for you, see, when you're gone I'll still be bloody Mary. We are not just art for Michelangelo to carve. He can't rewrite the aggro of my fury heart. I wait on mountaintops in Paris, gold with power, Maria to serve. Lumos Prozioni. They're doing whiteface. I loved it. I love that they like she tailored it off of like TikTok songs. You know what I mean? Like Golden Hour. I can't wait for them to get divorced. They're never. I hope Brody never gets divorced. Aliens Among Us? Oh my God, they did Among Us? Aliens Among... oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Is she just like a Marie Antoinette simp? I don't know. The West has fallen, man. Meanwhile, what is The Bachelor doing? You know what I mean? He's just picking his nose with the boys at a fucking trashy ass strip club in a New Mexico joint down the fucking street. You know what I mean? What is he doing? I want to know what the fucking bachelor party looks like. This is my Roman Empire. What the fuck? Some elaborate after wedding planner service is my guess. Bro, but who are they like selling this wedding service to? You know what I mean? Like who the fuck is like, oh dude, this is sick. Like this is exact. Wait, oh, she doesn't have anything else other than this wedding. He's a Hasanabe hit? Shut up. No, he's not. Yo, I just got back from dinner. Hasanabe's still on this wedding. Even deeper down this rabbit hole. Shit must be so white for him to be going all anthropological. Some about this smells weird. Some about this, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the finances don't make sense. You know what I mean? The finances don't make sense. This is too lavish. Mercedes-Benz dealership owned by Bill Usury sell for $150 million? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? He didn't sell a fucking dealership specifically to fucking turn around and, like, put half of that into a wedding. It actually doesn't. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't make sense. This is the preseason for the hottest murder Netflix coming out in 3 years. I mean, think about it this way. if this was a giant marketing scheme, first of all, it would be too elaborate. It's far too elaborate because the Instagram is like real. Her Instagram is real. This is like a real person. But even if it was an ad campaign, think about it. The price point for an ad campaign, this makes it like a large, like a ginormous ad campaign, chat. $59 million? You make movies with that fucking money. What are you talking about? Like, that's an insane amount. That's an insane amount of money for an ad campaign. Like, there's nothing. You're going to gag when I tell you she dressed up as Mary Antoinette for one of the days of The Bachelorette? Not her husband being arrested earlier this year for assault? I mean, what was his deal? What did he get arrested for? Aggravated assault against a public servant. What, I wonder, dude, when I see this, I'm like, well, what did the public servant do? He probably had it coming. What kind of public servant? I guess if it was a cop, they would say it's a cop, right? January 6th? No. Not the mailman. Yeah, he beat the shit out of the mailman. I think, honestly, I personally think, like, there's just, the amount of money is incomprehensible, and it's pretty funny because, like, the people that are engaging in this, like, incredibly lavish thing are so normal. Like, dude, no person up until this very moment that has worn a Dallas Cowboys hoodie has ever had a wedding in the Versailles Palace. I will put money down on that, okay? Like, not a single person that has ever worn a Dallas Cowboys hoodie has ever fucking gotten married in the Versailles Palace. Like, there's no shot. The public servant is guilty being poor, brokey, if you will. Yeah, dude. You're so wrong, Lamau. What are you talking about? What motherfucker? Dude, people that normally engage in these, like, incredibly expensive, lavish activities are not this fucking nouveau riche. I feel like they took, like, I guess inflation came for the nouveau riche as well. You know what I mean? Where, like, it inflated the nouveau riche into engaging in, like, actually old money activities. Because, like, all of that, with the exception of, like, how, the live, laugh, love aesthetic is, with some of the notable exceptions, is very much in the pocket of, like, doing festivities such as that, like old money festivities such as that. It's the opposite. Is nouveau riche that waste their money on this tacky shit? No, dude, no. Tacky shit is like doing it at fucking Mar-a-Lago or something, okay? Or tacky shit is doing it at an entire fucking country club. Tacky shit is doing it, like, sure, at an expensive place, but not $59 million, okay? I don't know. I'm sorry, did you see the wedding registry? I did. It looks fucking nutty. They also pointed out how Maroon 5 was booked to perform at the reception to sing the wedded pair's first dance. Netizens referred to the band's lead vocalist Adam Levine's alleged cheating scandal, stating that asking a man who almost named one of his children after his mistress to sing at someone's wedding is not only distasteful, but somewhat a bad omen. Yeah, the vibes are really fucked here, okay? Also, people mentioned how much money would rather be used to help in humanitarian works. The user Toned and Thin, who reposted a compiled clip of Madeline Brockway's nuptials on X, also posted the screenshot of a police record that shows Jacob Legrand was arrested. I like that, you get married to some fucking incredibly rich person and immediately get doxxed, by the way. That's another part of this story that's, like, crazy. Fuck, man. Online is just so awful. Prior to Madeline Brockway's 5-day grandiose wedding, the 26-year-old held a similarly lavish bachelor party at the Almangiri Resort in Utah last month, where she made a 4-night stay at her closest friends. The hotel has also hosted renowned celebrities like Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, and Kanye West, and more. Each day of the 4-day celebration featured a different theme. The first night was Pretty in Pink. On the third night of the Bachelorette, called Golden Hour, Madeline Brockway, dressed as French Queen Marie Antoinette, following the Bachelorette in Utah, Madeline and her wedding entourage flew to Paris in their private jets for the main event, the wedding. 5 days before the ceremony, the bride and her friends went for a private lunch on a suite at the Chanel Haute Couture. After that, Madeleine and the guests stayed at the Palace of Versailles, decked in an 18th century architectural magnificence.
With me to Versailles. Let me look in here. Oh my God.
Maddie, look at me here.
Maddie, what do we think?
Unreal.
Where are we?
We're at Versailles.
Not Maddie and I hanging out.
Not at Katie and I's room, baby. Maddie, I have
This is incredible. Look at this view.
I love it.
Cheers, Maddie. And look over the camera. Gorgeous. Oh my god. Should we wear the nightgown?
So we'll start with the...
I think the funniest, this will never stop being funny. The fact that she is the heiress to a car dealership owner in South Florida makes this story. If she was some fucking hedge fund manager, I'd be like, yeah, this is really expensive, but like it's in the pocket. It's ridiculous, whatever. But what makes this hilarious is the fact that her father owns 2 car dealerships in South Florida and a chop shop. That is fucking awesome. That, in my opinion, makes this story, okay? That makes it. Yo, what are you doing? Why? Motherfucker is watching my goddamn stream, I think, on his phone when he's at the door. Jesus Christ. March.
The first site, which was decorated in the period of the 14th, you can see painted the way it used to be.
There we go. I love that. Give me Vogue.
This is the shit of the family who invented the plastic bottle, not a dude who convinced you to get a jet ski hitch. That's what I'm saying. This is like a guy who invented like a piece of the widget that you use in like oil extraction, okay? And now sits on a throne of like $7 billion. How much did she pay you to talk about her on stream? Dude, so much. Yeah, she paid me $59 million. I'm a part of the fucking wedding package. Get prominent socialist commentator to review wedding in a negative way.
There we go. I love that. Hey, Maddie. It's giving. It's giving. Goodbye, Versailles. Stop it. Maddie, you want a dirty martini?
Look at me here.
It's incredibly beautiful people right there.
Yeah, it's a part of the comprehensive Marie Antoinette package where I piss off my followers into rioting outside the fucking Palace Versailles.
We will. It'll be amazing.
Cheers to Maddie and Jacob. Cheers. 4 days.
If she kept it private, it wouldn't seem so weird. I mean, that's what rich people usually do. You know how many of these fucking things happen a year? Probably very frequently. We just don't hear about it because actually rich motherfuckers don't actually post this shit. That's kind of the whole point. The ultra wealthy don't post this stuff because they know, especially if they're coming from old money, they know the resentment that builds up. You know what I mean? They know it's gosh.
Everything gonna be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your memories.
Wait, what? Ole Miss? No. It says Ole Miss and Texas, bro. This is what they got. This is what they're popping off. And the fucking... Dude, France has never been more down. Bro, France has never been more doo-doo caca than this very moment, okay? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The fucking French royalty are just literally spinning in their fucking graves like a top right now. Oh, this is so sick. I love this. This is actually awesome. This is American dominance, okay? This is 100% American dominance. This is when, like, not our wealthiest, okay? Our most tacky motherfuckers are dominating, like, institutions that were historic sites, desecrating historic sites, dude. Fucking awesome.
Memories bring back your... There's a time that...
I love that. It's just that this is just an extension of them selling venal office or paid for government positions expanded before the French Revolution, buying into nobility. All I'm saying is, I want to do some Kyle paintballing in the Coliseum. Exactly. All I'm saying is, we have cucked the Europeans so hard, okay? This is infinitely worse than building fucking nuclear NATO bases in their territory and putting them in grave danger, despite the fact that some of their leadership did not want that to happen, okay? This is like 50 years after that, when you get to send in your car dealership heresies to just like shit in the fucking Versailles. It's awesome. It's awesome. Putting up a fucking Ole Miss light show. Fucking great. What does this real life lore videos be like?
Djibouti is perhaps the most fascinating country in the modern world. It's really small, and if you put it over the United States, it's actually still really small. But why does the majority of the population of this fascinating country live in the capital city, also named Djibouti? In fact, over half of all Djiboutians live in this single area. Well, the answer to my clickbait title and thumbnail that I will change later is that the country is actually an inhospitable salt desert, and there's a fucking volcano in the middle of it, which is shitty if you're trying to live. Now that the reason you clicked on this video has been answered, I'm going to steal the next 30 minutes of your life and give you a sometimes well-researched, if not a bit simplistic overview of this nation's geopolitical landscape, its history, and to be honest, whatever else I feel like talking about so I can extend the length of this video. And don't worry, even though this video is about Djibouti, I'll somehow figure out a way to talk about the Russian invasion of Ukraine, North Korea for some reason, and of course, everyone's favorite Taiwan. Because, my dear viewer, in the Church of Real Life lore, this is our holy trinity.
North Korea, Ukraine, Taiwan.
That we pray to when in need of content. But let's be honest here, we both know that as long as I keep this high quality stock footage rolling, this voice serious and monotone, you'll believe anything I say as I slowly hypnotize you with my high production quality.
This is a fucking awesome video. What the fuck? And then in between, he's going to be like Nebula. If you want more of the videos, you can go to Nebula.
Before you know it, 30 minutes of your conscious experience will be mine forever. And you'll be injecting my exclusive Nebula and Curiosity Stream videos directly into your bloodstream like the loyal viewer you are. Djibouti lies at the center of one of the most geographically important areas on the planet, only beaten by the world's most important location, Bouvet Island, noted for its lack of League of Legends and Hearts of Iron 4 players. Djibouti's unique geographic positioning in the Horn of Africa makes it a soft power-wielding heavyweight in the region. It is vital to controlling the international flow of Nebula and Curiosity Stream subscriptions. States all over the world, especially in Europe, are forced by geography to have an interest in this small strait which acts as a choke point for commerce. Even in Djibouti's local neighborhood, its positioning is essential for its much larger, landlocked neighbor Ethiopia, who relies on Djibouti for access to the sea so it can import Curiosity Stream subscriptions. It's no wonder then why so many nations have military bases in this small but critical part of the world. But if we're truly going to understand this topic with more depth, then we have to travel back in time to the initial western migration of Turkic tribes from Central Asia into what we would call the Middle East and beyond. These many different Turkic tribes would go on to create empires and states of their own, but the one relevant to our story traveled all the way across Central Asia and established a medieval rump state of their own, which, although was a small part of the larger Turkish world, would go on to become the Ottoman Empire, a massive entity spanning 3 continents based in Constantinople. But what lied ahead of Constantinople was the European portion of the Ottoman Empire, and much of the population here were Christians who didn't like being under the rule of the Muslim Turks. This would become a major source of unrest in the region. Meanwhile, the neighboring Russian Empire...
I've never watched more of a video that is like specifically in my wheelhouse as like a meme. Incredibly fucking... This is the most try-hard meme of all time that spans 10 minutes.
Empire would gradually see itself
like I feel like this person made this literally for this community.
Christian subjects in the Ottoman world, especially as it viewed itself as the guardian of the Orthodox Church and the inheritor of the Roman legacy after the fall of Constantinople. But the conflict between these two political entities was not just a religious one, as despite what ideological or religious or moral high ground countries claim to have, the truth is that states operate in what's good for their self-interest. This is what's called realpolitik, and if you've ever played a Paradox multiplayer game, you know what it feels like.
Saxony is Austrian clay.
We should be allowed to have relations with the nation.
No, shut it. You're trying to groom out Saxony. They're just like a minor power.
No,
they're a minor. You're a fucking great power.
You're a great power. You're like keeping him in your basement, dog.
I made him.
Probably because you got his clay all over him.
Minors? That is all to say, it was very simply in the interest of the Russian Empire to have control over the Black Sea and expand its power into the Balkans. The propaganda and narratives simply follow along to fit their goals. If we fast forward to today, Turkey is still putting its own interests above all else, even in its own allies in NATO, as it continues to create tension with Greece over the Aegean Sea and Cyprus, meanwhile holding up Sweden from even joining NATO in the first place. And if you take a look at all these big scary arrows on the map, we can see that this is in spite of Russia's current occupation and invasion parts of Ukraine, which has sparked a revival and expansion of NATO. But even international outrage caused by the Russian war in Ukraine is not enough to make Turkey put aside its own interests, and that's why NATO's biggest internal problem is Turkey. Now, if you're wondering why I just gave a brief overview of a part of Turkish history and managed to name drop Ukraine and NATO and Sweden and Russia, it's not because I forgot what the original topic was supposed to be. It's actually because in the year 1542, the Ottoman Empire militarily aided the Adal Sultanate, which held territory where today the modern state of Djibouti is. And together, they fought the Portuguese and Ethiopians in battle, which had a significant impact on the history of Djibouti. And in order to tell you that, I had to give you the entire background of the Turkish people, the Ottoman Empire, a bit of NATO, Ukraine, and Russia as historical context. But to truly understand Djibouti's position on the world stage, we have to fast forward again to the modern day, where we can see that 90% of Djibouti's exports are YouTube videos about geopolitics, and they're going mostly to China. And if you want to know why, it's because Chairman Xi Jinping's Nebula subscription has expired, causing massive economic collapse in the country, as without the constant stream of clickbait geopolitical content, suicide rates are rapidly increasing, causing the population to fall. It's estimated that by 2050, China's population could drop to 5 people in total, unless someone can afford to renew Chairman Xi's subscription, and this is why China is shrinking fast. But there is one plan to save the Chinese Communist Party, and that is because it's been recently discovered that Johnny Harris is currently making geopolitical YouTube videos in Taiwan. This gives the island of Taiwan extreme value on the international stage, because it's estimated that if mainland China could reunify with the island, not only would its population maintain a healthy growth, but it would break the island chain led by the United States designed to keep the CCP isolated from the wider geopolitical YouTube market. Will China invade Taiwan next? The answer is most likely, because if you look at the map, you'll see multiple arrows pointing towards Taiwan, and everyone knows the more arrows I put on the map, the more likely an invasion happens, and to be honest, I could just keep doing this. I mean, I could add so many arrows that are so beautifully animated, it won't even matter what the Chinese Communist Party wants, they'll simply be forced to invade. But if you really want to know why the Chinese People's Republic is so good at war,
he's gonna talk about
they have experience at it.
He's gonna have to talk about North Korea. I'm not talking about
their military expansion into Xinjiang or Tibet, because those have always been historically part of China. I'm talking about the Chinese intervention in the Korean War.
Yes!
The North Koreans.
Yes! Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, this video is awesome.
Unification of the South. North Korea, while failing to unify the peninsula because of a United Nations intervention, also gained valuable combat experience and would go on to create the most militarized state in the world. And to be honest with you, I don't know how North Korea is preparing to attack Ukraine, but once again, my pupils, if we play—
What the fuck? Is that a real video? No, he made that up. There ain't no way Real Life Lore made a video like that. Wait, what? Shut the fuck up. Dude, no shot. Hold on. Why North Korea? Oh my god, it's real. Brody really made a fucking video. Why North Korea's preparing to attack Ukraine next? Yo, that's awesome. Okay, that's fucking sick. That's sick. He's cooking. What is Real Life Lore cooking up in the shop, dude? I mean, to be fair, dude, how North Korea made it impossible to escape 11 million views. I'd be doing that shit too if it gave me 11 million views, you know what I mean? Yo, I really got to stop with this fucking anti-imperialist nonsense, dude. I'm dropping. After I saw the fucking Versailles wedding, I dropped the socialism shit. This socialism shit is over. And also the anti-imperialism shit is over, dude. It's so Jover. It's never been more Jover. Going forward, I am going to always suspiciously end up aligning myself with whatever the fuck American foreign policy hacks are saying, okay? Whatever the fuck the State Department is saying, I'm aligning with. I'm just going to do it in an edgy way. Oh, so an anarchist? No, yeah, exactly.
Pay close attention, we'll see a high number of arrows in the thumbnail, which can mean only one thing: a glorious liberation on the shores of the Black Sea to expand North Korea into Ukraine, which will promptly be renamed to West Korea.
This is so stupid. This is... Oh, dude,
Let's look at that one more time, but a little bit slower. That's right. You thought I forgot about the point of the video again, but I didn't. Because, as you can clearly see, the invasion path of North Korea into West Korea clearly passes through Djibouti's territorial waters. This goes to show just how vital Djibouti's geographic positioning truly is. Even for a country as far away as North Korea, they are totally reliant on the Djiboutian government, who controls this strait, in order to facilitate their liberation of West Korea. But there's something that I've yet to mention, something that is the glorious Central African Empire, which is set to invade Djibouti at the time of this video's upload. This will have major geopolitical consequences around the world, and you can learn more about it in my Modern Conflict series, where I'm yapping for 50 minutes straight instead of yapping for 30 minutes straight.
What the fuck? He parodied Monsieur Z? What is Monsieur Z? I don't know what that is. I don't think I've ever watched one of his videos. Why Canada should be destroyed? Top 3 geography facts. When a Hearts of Iron 4 player runs a congressional campaign. What if William Walker won the filibuster war? What the fuck? Alternative history of Europe, but it's awesome. What if Faltis videos be like? Who are these people? I don't know who these people are. Becoming a bread tuber. Yo, he didn't place me in this. Oh, this guy's awesome. Wait, did he? He didn't add me in the BreadTuber collection. Oh, this guy's awesome. Okay.
My name is Genuine, and this is my official BreadTuber world record submission. For this run, I decided to drop the lurking in other creators' chat strategy because, well, it takes too much time to carve out my own space from their viewer count. And I've also decided for this run not to steal Destiny's website code because, well, I found the .gg format to be really an unnecessary addition. So, yeah, without any more interruptions, let's get into the run and start the timer. Okay guys, welcome to my politics channel. I'm the newest BreadTuber, and basically I'm a pragmatic utilitarian sockdem. So like that means when the good things are happening, like I like the good things, and like the bad things, that's not chill when there's bad things happening. So like when it comes to the politics, that also means like I'm right on the politics and the important issues such as abortion, etc. So basically, yeah, that's my foundational like, moral principles. And that's my guiding philosophy I came up with all by myself. It took years of, self-reflection and meditation atop the highest peak of Southern California. I did not steal my views from anybody. Please don't say that I stole my views, because that's slander. Okay guys, intro's done. We're gonna go ahead and make the first YouTube video. We're gonna be going after PragerU. Why are kids so unhappy? I do have a prepared argument here. PragerU is some good, easy content. Get some early views. Start our channel. What do you got for us, Dennis?
Severe depression and rates of self-injury among U.S. college students more than doubled over less than a decade. And unhappiness is hardly confined to Americans.
Okay, not confined to Americans.
People have more money, better health, better housing, more education, and live longer than at any time in history.
Okay, well then, why? If they have all these things, then why are young people so unhappy?
There are any number of reasons. Increased drug and opioid addiction,
okay,
less human interaction because of constant cell phone use, and young people's fears for their future are the most widely offered explanations.
Okay, so far I gotta grant this to Dennis. Fears for your future, potentially opioid addictions. That'll do it to you. That'll make you unhappy.
But the biggest reason is the loss of values and meaning.
Wrong. The reason I'm unhappy, Dennis Prager, is because I struggle to emotionally communicate with other people, and it impairs my ability to form new and long-standing relationships. Okay guys, first video's done. Now you gotta go to twitter.com and we actually are gonna be starting some discourse. So the rite of passage to become a breadtuber is to start some Twitter discourse. So for ours, we're gonna be going after, you know him, you hate him, it's Vosh. Your recent take on the Maya monkeys was really problematic, sis. Hashtag land back via brutal repression. Anyways, period stamp Jim Woo Bob. Here we go. As you can see at the end here, period stamp Jim Woo Bob. We're gonna be appealing to the BTS crowd. And as you guys know, the BTS crowd are very fanatical on Twitter, and they will back us into battle. You can really count on them on the front lines, without a doubt, folks. So let's go ahead and add this. Boom. Alright guys, discourse is underway. And now our final challenge to becoming a breadtuber. To become a breadtuber, we must destroy a chud in a debate. Which is why I'm
taking notes. You're right. I am. I'm trying to learn, dude. This is good. This is
Destiny coming on.
I should be. Hassan is breaking the fourth wall in his mind. Next Hassan strat, I don't do any of this shit. What do you fucking mean?
The show, folks. That's right. Destiny. Wait, what? Oh, shit. I'm getting a call from my mom. Wait, I can destroy her in a debate. Okay. Mom? What the fuck do you mean you want me to take out the trash? Are you acting in good faith right now, Mom? Okay, well, if you do the utilitarian calculation, you'll see that if you interrupt my video and you make me take out the trash, you'll actually be doing a net negative on the society at large. If you like taking out the trash so much, why don't you do it yourself, bitch?
I mean, this is it. This is the final stage of anarchism. Is destroying, eviscerating the unjustifiable hierarchies that your parental units have placed upon you, breaking your shackles, if you will.
Oh my god.
Debating them in the marketplace of ideas.
It's a world record. It's a world record. It's a world record.
Listen, I'm a Unitarian. What? Here's a Kyrgyzok's parody.
The universe is 14 billion years old, and most of it is full of shit. Life emerged on Earth about...
Hands off dialectical materialism. I don't want to watch this. All right, we're going to do fun shit. Conservatism, bad comedy, a new mind-blowing theory. I don't know if I want to watch this either. I cannot. The craziest thing that I learned from this video, which was very well done, by the way, was that real-life lore unironically made a fucking North Korea is slated to invade Ukraine video. That's crazy. Actually crazy. We're gonna shelve the Vince Vintage video. What if all this parody is S tier? I've seen teachers use it.
What if alt is tier? Today we'll be looking at 3 countries that will be...
What is What If Altist? I don't know what this is.
Superpowers by 2022. The first one up is, of course, the Central African Republic, which will become the great...
He's a chud that sucks at history? Dude, every fucking... Like, most history YouTube channels that I've seen, I don't really touch any of it. But a lot of the history YouTube channels, like, I don't know, they got some weird-ass fucking takes. Like, what is that German one? First of all, when you're a German guy and you're really into history, immediate red flag, okay? Except, I guess for 3 Arrows, he's fine. But everybody else, immediate red flag, okay? Red flag. Especially if you're like a former alt-right guy, double red flag, triple red flag.
Greater Central African Empire. Now listen, I know things aren't going too well in the Central African Republic right now, but...
Alt history didn't know what historical materialism is when I asked them. What?
Given the trend of their rising GDP, which has been going strong for over 40 years, combined with a trend of a growing young population which has existed well into the 50s, I think it's fair to assume that this country's status as a regional power will grow until its influence can simply no longer...
Like, this shit doesn't work for me because I don't know what the fuck this guy does. You know what I mean? Like, the real life lore video was really funny. The real life lore video was really funny for me because it's like, wait, he justified the Crusades? I don't really watch a lot of history YouTube, really. You have to watch Fredda. He did some videos on him. Watch Fredda debunking what if altist analysis of communism. Literally just search a what if altist map on Google and you'll understand immediately. What I don't know who these people are. I think I follow Fredda because they post on Twitter. I don't know anything about, like, I didn't even know they were a YouTuber.
I was on an airplane flight with my manager, Merrick, the guy who runs the Iron Channel, and we were both comparing our maps, since we both make maps in our free time. An interesting thing...
No, I'm done. No, that's enough. I'm checking out. All right, cool, man. Thanks, guys. I don't know any of this stuff. And I, quite frankly, I want to keep it that way. I think a lot of people forget because I'm hyper online every day, nonstop, and just like you guys are, you often assume, most likely, just like my haters do as well, that I'm online in the same way that they are. That like I'm aware of the things that you're aware of, or I'm aware of like all of the people that are fucking constantly in my periphery, in my orbit. I'm not. And you know, it's fine. I think it's good. It's good to keep it that way. You know what I mean? I'm happy. Also, look at how fucking fire this is. Wisdom once again popping the fuck off. To be fair, Don Quixote, his glasses are already high fashion. That would have been sick. But the rest of the fit goes hard. Sanji already easy. Pants, Raf Simons, Boost, YSL bag, Hermes. What about the suit? Oh my god, this shit is so fucking crazy. Dude, what the fuck? That coat is incredible. The product coat goes so hard. Oh my god. Even that Big Mom, he cooked Ace a little bit. That, oh, with the fucking tabbies. With the Margiela tabbies, dude. Okay, Tony Chopper, way sicker this way. This is pretty sick too. Okay. Frankie got cooked a little bit. Boa Hancock. Oh my god. Hello. With Boa, you could have put like something snake related, you know what I mean? Borrowed something from Austin for Vivi. Skip the Robin one. Tweet 5 out of 1. Wait, I missed the Robin? Oh, Smoker. Some of these people I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. No, she's not in 5 out of 1. Silver's Rayleigh. Where's Nico Robin? Wow. Dude, a lot of this stuff is so sick. Oh my god, Trafalgar Law would look cooler if he actually dressed up like this. What are those pants? And Demi Lee Mester. Order by Yoji Yamamoto. Scarf Julius. I wear Chrome Hearts. What about the jacket? These are unnecessarily hard. Honestly. They go way too fucking hard. High fashion one piece. Aka Inu. I mean, this is a classic. He's already dripped up. Borsalino. None of us can cosplay One Piece after this. No, this is the most insane. This is the most intense thing I've ever seen. Like, it's out of control. Jinbei, Dragon. Oh my god. Yo, that's the Austin jacket. That's the Austin jacket. That's the jacket I got Austin. Well, the one that he stole. Oh my god. Bartholomew Kuma. Oh my god, those boots are crazy. And the pants too. Holy shit. Every part of this is incredible. God damn. Wow. This is all across the board fire. Okay, let's do it. My fucking PlayStation works. How much do you think Wisdom's total wardrobe costs? Probably not that much, because he probably gets a lot of free shit too. I think you forget that most brands probably send him shit for free. Uh-oh. Why is it not working? Yeah, Alan, wake up. Asana's gaming is what is supposed to happen right now, but it's not working for some reason. Oh, there it is. Oh no. What is this fucking audio problem? Oh no. It's got that weird audio shit. Hold on, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna restart. It's gonna fix it. It sounds like it's pissing. It sounds like good pussy pissing, like you fried chicken in the kitchen. And I gotta pee. Yeah, you heard me, motherfucker. And it's the top of the hour ad break. It's Alan Woke time. Let's go. Why did the sound not fix itself? That's not good. Check your cables. No, I don't think it's the cables. It just does it sometimes. I think maybe I'm like a little scared of turning off the Elgato and deactivating it and reactivating it, but I'm going to do it anyway with the hopes that it fixes it. Nope. It's not gone, but it's not as annoying. Fuck it. Whatever. Wait, it went away. Nope. Still back. What the fuck? Why did it go away? Power cycle. What the fuck? Is it static? Check the cable. I did restart the PlayStation. I did. Let me turn it off fully this time. 100% cable related. All right, let's see. 1 second. I don't know why people say this is cable related. This has happened to me before. White noise is almost always cables. I had to deactivate my Elgato and OBS and reactivate. Okay, we're gonna restart it. Wait. It's gone. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? You can use AI noise suppression, plug in an OBS to capture card audio sources to enter and fix. What? You can use the AI noise suppression plugin I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's happening like this. This is not a problem usually. Wait. What the fuck? Come on now. Nope. Still fucked up. Gotta be the cords. Why would it be cords? The HDMI, man. It's a fucking HDMI. Why would the HDMI cords be fucked up? Hold on, I'm gonna go under. Let's see, capture audio only. That's not working. Output desktop audio, wave out. Not working either. Oh, it is working. It's even fucking louder now. What the fuck? I made it louder. Why? Try plugging in the PlayStation in a different outlet. Hold on. Could be a bit rate mismatch or voice meter related. It's crackling. I'm sure it's 100% microphone connected. No, I don't think it is. Hold on. I don't know how to. What do you mean microphone connected? This is a desktop audio issue. I can see it in desktop audio. It's reading it from desktop audio. Like I see it. You think it's a PlayStation mic? Disable the PlayStation mic? How do you do that? Maybe try giving him a compliment for once. I agree. Yeah, it wasn't the mic, chat. See, it's muted. La 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 la. La 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 la. My Elgato does it, and it told me to lower the game quality to 720. Not sure why it does it. How do I do that? How do I lower the quality? This has happened to me before. I'm just gonna roll with it. If it's fucking annoying, then whatever. This has happened to me before on Spooderman. The first day I played Spooderman, and I just played with it, and it just like turns into ambient noise, and people forget about it. But what is this? Audio crackling with Elgato. Click on sound devices. Choose your capture device. Turn off audio enhancements. Wait, really? Maybe it's a Windows. No. Where do I go? Go to settings and system. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Hold on 1 second. Could be audio enhancements. 1 second. I'm going to take a look at it. Hold up. Hold up now. Elgato. Go to settings in Windows 11 system. Go to sound. Where the fuck is the sound? System. Sound. Choose where to play sound. Realtek audio. Choose device for speaking or recording. Microphone. Game Capture 60 Pro. No. Not used as a default. But I'm not even using that for sound anyway. I'm not using that device. All sound devices, headphones, speakers, input devices, microphone, game capture, audio, format, 2-channel, 16-bit, DVD quality, default sound, not default. Yeah, for me it just shows as microphone, game capture HD 60 for the record. It doesn't show anything else. It doesn't show as like a separate overall audio thing on all sound devices anyway.
Fuse was in place. Saga stepped into the witch's hut.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking shit my pants.
A bright light. There were objects that stood out to Saga, as if the light had manifested them.
The witch's hut. Okay. I trust the pages to lead me to the overlap.
I forgot that this is where I left off, which is like the shittiest place to leave off. Wait, what the fuck? Why is it? Now I can't see on my fucking screen. What happened? Wait, what the fuck? My what is bro, okay. Chat, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm going to be able to play this. Not only is there a weird audio thing happening, but now my fucking my monitor is dead. No. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, my main monitor died. I don't know what the fuck's happening. Oh, it's back. Refresh one more time and then please call it. I mean, dude, I'm fucking trying. I'll restart it one last time, but let's restart. I'm telling you this happened because you skipped the song. I mean, this happened when I first played. This happened when I. Fuck, dude. Nobody wants to fucking watch me play games anyway. Let's be fucking real. Come on, guys. Oh, okay. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm so mad. Okay. All right. I'm done. I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna try. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I have to figure this out, possibly off stream. Very frustrating. Anyway, yeah, I'm fucking, dude. I'm done. I am not going to be streaming tomorrow. Or if I do, it'll be a very short stream, but I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow because I have to do 2 podcasts, not 1, but 2. I'm going to be doing the yard as well as having the Fear and Pod tomorrow. So, most likely not going to have time to stream. So I'll see you guys on Monday. I love you all, okay? Hopefully with some good news. Hopefully with a fixed PC. Fuck. Alright. Bye, everybody.
to the top, it just begun. There he is again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming. There he is again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming. Reviewing the P.O. box, Uncle Uger's face. Sat in Discord agitprop, great names take on break. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. Whole left at your fingertips, Ane at your door. H3 crowded debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, plenty more to go. 90-day fiance, talks of champagne bourgeoisie. A Trump rally live reaction, a mass riot at DC. There he is again, her sun is streaming, her sun is streaming.